The number one fear when it comes to planning for retirement is running out of money. So you take that, and then, of course, that 42% of baby boomers that don't know how much money they have in their nest egg, well, that also means they don't know if they have enough. Think about it. Do you? Find out by listening to Mastering Your Wealth. Join host David Gagnon of First Financial Planners every Saturday morning at 8, right here on WICC 600. And, of course, for more details, you can always visit online at masteringyourwealthradio.com.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway southbound construction, exit 36 and 35. Northbound, you have it in Trumbull into exit 48. On the Wilbur Cross, northbound, it starts at exit 55. Southbound, you have it in Hampton through the tunnel past exit 59. Stay left to get around it. 91 southbound, more road work, exit 9 down through exit 3. Left lane is out. Route 8 northbound, construction starts exit 15. 84 eastbound, you have more road work, exits 3 through 5. And further eastbound, ongoing cleanup of an overturned vehicle. Exit 15, stay to the left to get around it. Traffic report is powered by the Fairfield Law Office of Eliafson and Tenor. Give your family and yourself the most important gift you can give, peace of mind. Visit ConnecticutElderLaw.com. I'm Edge Krause, WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
The voice of Connecticut is WICC 695.9. Now, back to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
All right, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. So would you join the America Party? Are you frustrated like a lot of people might be because of the litmus tests that we're doing here with you know how parties work, right? Well, if you're a Democrat, you can't be pro strength on the border, even though you may be pro social services programs, you may be pro abortion rights, you may be pro SNAP benefits, but you know that litmus test is going to kick you out if you know you're pro gun or you're pro border control. Then on the other side, how many Republicans will push you away if, you know, you're pro Second Amendment and you're pro low taxes, but, you know, you want to have citizenship for illegal or undocumented migrants? In other words, could a third party work if the third party took a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B? 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. And would there be, of course, a concerted effort by the powers that be in both the Democrat and Republican parties, maybe, in fact, to make sure this doesn't work, right? I mean, why wouldn't they push back on this, eh? And let's start it off today on the phones at 333-9422, talk or text. Doug in Westport to lead us off. Hello, Doug. How are you?
Hey, Paul. Did you have a good Independence Day weekend?
Yes, I did, Doug. It was quite wonderful and profitable. Yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
We live in a fabulous country.
Yes,
we live in a remarkable country.
Yes,
and,
we do.
I have a couple of responses to you. I want to say there's one thing that I will quote Joe Biden on.
Okay.
Where I think we can all agree he was right.
Yeah.
Joe Biden was fond of saying that America is an idea, and it really is.
Okay.
It's the Constitution, it's liberty, it's freedom.
All right.
It's not allegiance to king. It's not an ethnically based country.
No.
It's an idea, and he was right when he said those.
Yep.
I'm a Democrat.
Yeah.
I would be interested in a third party.
Mm-hmm.
I would be intrigued if Elon Musk tied up with Andrew Yang, who you may remember.
Sure. Yeah.
Yang has been working on a third-party effort called the Forward Party.
Mm-hmm.
So he's built some infrastructure, and he's a smart guy. He's built some infrastructure, and Musk and Yang might want to talk to each other. You talked about the parties and you described them in polarizing terms.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. I was just reading another article about that over the weekend, how those of us who are moderates, who are in the middle,
Well, that's the problem, right? I mean, there's no real home for you.
You said the cookie cutter, but actually what's happened is the shape of the cookie cutter changed.
Yeah, good. I like that, yes.
The cookie cutter is not standing at the same shape. My Democratic Party that I grew up with is based on economics and prosperity for the middle class and the working class, and doesn't have a lot of the litmus tests that you talked about.
Yeah.
I worked in another state for many years. I'm from Connecticut.
Okay.
I worked in another state for many years, and I worked for the governor, who was a Democratic governor.
Yeah.
And he had a 100% rating with the NRA from when he was a state senator. He was a classic, what I would call an economic Democrat.
Doug, it's interesting. I get what you mean, and it's interesting because, for example, if that person, say, that you worked with, and I don't need to know what state, but that's a perfect example.
I'm happy to tell you it was Indiana.
Okay.
The governor was somebody you probably never heard of. His name was Frank O'Bannon. He served 2 terms.
Yep.
And he was the last Democratic governor. No, he was. He was the last person elected governor, that Democratic governor, in the year 2000. Indiana hasn't had a Democratic governor since.
Now, Doug, what do you think would happen if you had that scenario here in Connecticut where, for example, you had a candidate who, is a Democrat, for example, and checked off all the boxes that Democrats love here in Connecticut, and then, though, somebody would find out that same kind of candidate, Doug, wait a minute. This guy's got 100% rating from the local and national NRA. What do you think would happen to that candidate here in Connecticut?
I think he would have a very difficult primary,
Yeah.
but it's possibly winnable.
Yeah.
I don't dismiss it out of hand. He might win on other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Depends how you fashion the campaign.
And maybe, and Doug, thank you for the call. Good to hear from you, my friend. There, Doug in Westport with some real-life examples there. But let's take Doug's example. What about here in Connecticut where we have an attorney general, we have members of the legislature on the Democratic side who regularly demonize gun owners and those people who shoot and keep guns for their self-defense and want to own an AR-15. Now, that gentleman, and Doug, thank you, I do remember the governor's name out there. It's been a while, you're right. But he'd have no shot here in the state, at least to get through the primary process. Why? Because everything in this state with the Democratic Party is a litmus test. Can you imagine if the Dems said, hey, this guy or this gal, he or she's right out of central casting. Oh, my God, look at this person. Absolutely freaking fantastic. But there's a problem. Well, what's the problem? Well, guess what? They own guns. Well, okay, so what do they own, a pistol or a sporting rifle? No, they own an AR-15. You know what that would mean with the State Central Committee. See, I would love for this to happen. I really would. And I know there are a lot of people on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, do this saying, oh, my God, you can't do that. Why can't I? Why can't I? Well, if you do, it'll split our vote and let the other side win. Well, too bad. Too bad. I'm sorry. At this point in my life, I don't care what you think. We need to elect the best people, and we need to stop with the litmus test. Do you think in any Democratic state a pro-life Democrat could be elected? The answer is no. The answer is no. A pro-life Democrat, an anti-abortion Democrat, can never win a blue state. Why? It's a blue state. Do you think any Republican could win a red state in a sheer red state with advocating for tougher gun laws? No, wouldn't happen. And I know what you're saying. Well, that's what the parties exist for, Paul. Yeah, I know that, and that's why the country is now divided almost completely down the middle. Half the country, when Trump does something, hey, that's what we voted for. The other half, hey, I hope he burns in hell. That's not healthy for the country. It's not. It's not healthy. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Elon Musk And I'm already getting some blowback to the question, well, this guy's, yeah, whatever. Musk is crazy. We know that. Brilliant people who want to do things are oftentimes nuts. It's because they have no governor. They have no filter. They have different complexes that make them say, how dare you tell me I can't do anything? I'm going to show you. Elon Musk, Thomas Edison, some of the great scientists of all time, some of the great politicians of all time. These people didn't care what you think because they had a vision. Howard Hughes, in the end, he was a crazy man, and he was also brilliant. What do you think? Talk or text 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Elon Musk says he's going to form a new America Party. Does the U.S. need a viable third major political party? And would you join such a party that's being proposed by Mr. Musk? Traffic and weather together right here on WICC.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway southbound construction, exit 36 and 35. Northbound, you have it in Trumbull into exit 48. On the Wilbur Cross, northbound, it starts at exit 55. Southbound, you have it in Hampton through the tunnel past exit 59. Stay left to get around it. 91 southbound, more road work, exit 9 down through exit 3. Left lane is out. Route 8 northbound, construction starts exit 15. 84 eastbound, you have more road work, exits 3 through 5. And further eastbound, ongoing cleanup of an overturned vehicle. Exit 15, stay to the left to get around it. On Edge Krause, WICC traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below and low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor, is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
Many tire dealers will sell you Falcon tires, but Town Fair Tire doesn't just sell Falcon tires, they sell them at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, they give you free services for the life of your Falcon tires. That's an unbeatable deal only Town Fair Tire can offer, because Town Fair Tire is New England's largest name brand discount tire dealer. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal, and I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Discover the finest flooring in Southern Connecticut at Courtesy Carpet. With over 50 years experience, we've got your flooring needs covered. From intricate area rugs, durable vinyl and laminate to elegant stair runners. Shop anywhere, but make sure to see us before you buy. Visit courtesycarpet.com to explore our extensive selection. Visit Ellen, Jay, and the team at Courtesy Carpet, Route 111 in Monroe. Trust us, the experts in quality flooring. Because at Courtesy Carpet, your satisfaction is our courtesy.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work. Know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. The death toll from the flooding in Texas has now reached at least 90, many of them from a children's camp. Senator Ted Cruz.
The children, the little girls who were lost at Camp Mystic. That's every parent's nightmare.
The Trump administration is stepping up the pressure on trading partners to sign new tariff deals, as Nancy Cordes reports.
12 to 15 letters are going to go out to countries beginning today, putting them on notice that if they don't start to finalize their deals with the United States, they are going to be hit with much higher tariffs.
Japan and South Korea have been notified of 25% tariffs on their goods. Israel's prime minister will meet later at the White House with President Trump to discuss the way ahead in Gaza. Analyst Aaron David Miller.
There's a better chance than ever now, since early this year, to actually reach another incremental interim deal.
Trump has made it clear he wants the conflict to end soon. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors began their deliberations around 11 this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield Prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, including the murder of McGrath, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 48-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. A 17-year-old boy who was pulled unresponsive from a pond in Danbury has died. The unidentified child was reported as a missing swimmer on Friday at a pond near Long Ridge Road. The swimmer was located by first responders and taken to the hospital, but he did not survive. The boy's death remains under investigation. A man was rescued Sunday after he jumped off a boat in the Housatonic River in Shelton and tried to swim ashore. Evidently, the man began struggling in the water after jumping in and went beneath the surface. A person passing by on another boat jumped in and rescued the man. State Environmental Conservation Police responded to the incident and said the man was treated on the shore, then transported to Griffin Hospital in Derby in stable condition. 3 people were taken to the hospital after a boat crashed into rocks along the Bridgeport shore. Police say the crash happened Saturday night in the area of Monument and Soundview Drive. The 3 people on board suffered injuries described as minor by police. The victims have not been identified. A man has been charged with drunk driving after his car went into a pond in downtown Milford. The vehicle apparently was involved in a hit-and-run crash on Shipyard Lane moments before splashing into the pond behind the Stonebridge restaurant early yesterday morning. A police officer who was nearby saw the crash and jumped into the water and was able to rescue the man from the car. Leading up to the holiday weekend, state police had urged Connecticut drivers to drive responsibly.
Especially 4th of July, we're expected to see more traffic, more gatherings, and with that, obviously, that can oftentimes result in more accidents and seeing more drunk drivers or even wrong-way drivers on the road.
The unidentified man is charged with DUI and evading responsibility. State police have released traffic statistics from the holiday weekend. 330 crashes were reported from this past Thursday through Sunday, 3 of which were fatal. These numbers are almost identical to 2024, where state police reported 332 crashes with only 1 fatality. 29 DUI arrests were also made during that same time period. State Trooper Ramonda Zuda said that the 4th of July is one of the most dangerous times of the year for Connecticut roadways.
4th of July, a lot of people are obviously going to get together with their friends. There's going to be drinks included or going out somewhere. So oftentimes we'll get calls for erratic operation, and which would lead to most oftentimes DUI arrests.
Free America rallies took place nationwide this weekend, including here in Connecticut. Many of the protests were in opposition to President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which he signed over the holiday weekend. Susan Vogel from the protest group Indivisible Stamford says that the bill in question is anything but beautiful.
We're looking at millions of Americans losing health care if this bill, this big, beautiful bill, which isn't any of those things, it's big, but it's not beautiful, actually becomes law. We're looking at children losing access to food, going hungry.
And a new federal highway report says that Connecticut's roads need a lot of work. The recent study was compiled by the Highway Performance Monitoring System and seemed to suggest that Connecticut roads are among the worst in the country. However, Dr. Eric Jackson from the State Transportation Institute told WTNH-TV News 8 that the numbers are slightly misleading.
So the HPMS started in 1978. It's a way for the federal government to basically just track the quality of roads throughout the country. Connecticut, is being a small state, we're able to collect a significant amount of data on all of our state roads.
Connecticut's size means that a larger amount of our road issues are found, reported, and addressed correspondingly. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, southbound construction, exit 36 and 35. Northbound, you have it in Trumbull to exit 48. On the Wilbur Cross, northbound, it starts at exit 55. Southbound, you have it in Hamden through the tunnel past exit 59. Stay left to get around it. 91 southbound, more road work, exit 9 down through exit 3. Left lane is out. Route 8 northbound, construction starts exit 15. 84 eastbound, you have more road work, exits 3 through 5. And further eastbound, ongoing cleanup of an overturned vehicle, exit 15. Stay to the left to get around it. I'm Andrew Krause, WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
If Shelton is talking about it, so is Paul. Connecticut Today with Paul Pizzelli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
That is President Donald Trump. Obviously, it's sometime over the past few days on Air Force One. The he that he's referring to there is his former buddy, I guess, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is floating the idea of something he calls the America Party. Now, again, Trump is right there. The president's right. This has been tried numerous times before. There have been races, especially for the White House, with multiple big candidates. They've never won, really, beyond the local support they might get or some percentage of vote they might get in the general election. George Wallace lost. John Anderson lost. Who else? Ross Perot dropped out. And, you know, through the years, if you go on Wikipedia or check any repository of numbers, you can see that there have been third-party candidates. The difference is they're kind of always chasing the game. You know, when sports reporters say, well, you get down early, so you have to chase the game. Like, you can't really execute a strategy when you're playing catch-up. So all these third-party candidates or third choices or fourth choices on the ballot, they're all playing catch-up here. None of them starts out on an even keel. They just don't, with whomever the Republican is or whomever the Democrat is. And you know there are a lot of disenchanted Democrats who still want to stay with their party for some reason, but don't agree with them. They think their party has left them on reasons. on issues. And you know there are Republicans who feel the same way. This is why Musk is purportedly doing this, because of the amount of red ink that this so-called big, beautiful bill adds to the national debt, which we're never going to pay off. We are never going to pay that off. And look, I know Trump said what he said, and all the other politicos would say, well, you know, there's no real reason for this. Yeah, there is a reason for it. There is a reason for it, because both sides, the Democrats, to a more extensive point, I think, than the Republicans, both sides are into litmus tests here. You have got to agree with us on every single thing, or we won't get behind you. Or even worse, if, God forbid, you change your thinking on something, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, guess what? You're going to get primaried. Look what Trump is threatening to Thomas Massie and a few other people. Well, that's it. We're going to have to take you out in the primary. And the Democrats do it the same way. My God, you see when a couple of members of Congress on the Democratic side came out after the election and said, yeah, we should have been tougher on the border, and we should have been tougher on transgender athletes. Oh, my God. The political crosshairs got put right in their face. So, yeah, I'm okay with what Musk wants to do. Well, you know, it could hurt the Republican Party. I don't care. I don't care which party it hurts. We have lost a complete concept of flexibility here, and that's not good. That's not good. These crazy litmus tests are not good. Don't get mad at Elon Musk. Don't get mad at person A, B, and C. Get mad at the point that both parties have these ridiculous litmus tests now. And this is why half the country hates the other half. It's not good. Toby in Bridgeport with us. Toby, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Toby, I'm living the dream, baby. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't care because both parties have failed me, whether it's the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. So if he launches a third party, an independent party that is viable, so be it.
So both parties anger you, Toby, at some point, right? Do you throw your hands up with both parties?
Yeah. I mean, first it was Republicans. Then Republicans angered me. Then I went to the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Then the Democrats kind of angered me, and then it's like I'm independent. So
all right, okay, all right, Toby, thank you, appreciate the call. Well, there's a perfect example, right? Somebody who said he started with the Democratic Party, they got upset with him, or he got upset with them. Toby crossed over, my God, went to the other side, and now he's not happy with the Republicans. So don't discount this. And if anybody could make it happen, it could be Musk. And I'm already hearing and seeing stuff on social media from prominent Republicans and prominent Democrats. Don't let Musk fool you. It can't wait. Now, getting on the ballot is very tough. You need to lawyer up, and believe me, Musk has money. So the ballot access is really the problem here. You saw what happened in the last couple of cycles when you had these groups like, you know, Third Way and other people here, including the late Joe Lieberman, try to do something like this. And, boy, you go out in the national media, even in Connecticut here. Are you serious? Do you know what the Democratic and the Republican Party would say to you in Connecticut if you do that? Red state, blue state. Well, you shouldn't do that because, well, but again, it is the litmus tests of politics that are killing us here. So the question becomes here, and this is what we're kicking off the show with today. It's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Voice of CT. Elon Musk says he's forming a new America Party. Does the U.S. need a viable third party? An emphasis on the word viable there. There are a bunch of third parties. America has a Libertarian Party. They have the Democratic Socialists. They have the Communist Party. They have the Workers' Party. None of them are the Green Party, the Working Families Party. none of these parties can match the money and muscle of the Democrats or Republicans. Is that a good thing or perhaps maybe a bad thing? 333-9422, 333-WICC.
Hi, this is Rich Jackson, General Manager at Mazda of Milford. There's never been a better time to buy or lease a new Mazda. Discover the future of driving with the all-new 2025 Mazda CX-30 and CX-50 at Mazda of Milford. Experience unparalleled style, cutting-edge technology, and exceptional performance. Elevate your driving experience with Mazda of Milford. Mazda of Milford, easy to get to and even easier to do business with. Mazda of Milford, 915 Boston Post Road in Milford, or on the web at mazdaofmilford.com.
If you've been injured in an accident and are dealing with the pain and suffering from injuries as well as the unexpected financial burden, you need an attorney by your side. You need Ganem Injury Lawyers. The truth is, insurance companies prefer not to deal with Ganem Injury Lawyers because they know attorney George Ganem will maximize your settlement and get you the compensation that you rightfully deserve. Contact Ganem Injury Lawyers for a free consultation. They don't get paid until you get paid. GanemInjuryLawyers.com. Call 203-713-8383.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway southbound construction and exit 36 and 35. Northbound, you have it in Trumbull to exit 48. On the Wilbur Cross, northbound, it starts at exit 55. Southbound, you have it in Hampton through the tunnel past exit 59. Stay left to get around it. 91 southbound, more road work, exit 9 down through exit 3. Left lane is out. Route 8 northbound, construction starts exit 15. 84 eastbound, you have more road work, exits 3 through 5. And further eastbound, ongoing cleanup of an overturned vehicle. Exit 15, stay to the left to get around it. On Edge Krause, WICC traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below and low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli is back and only on the Voice of Connecticut. WICC 600 and 95.9.
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system.
All right, so the president, El Presidente, not too happy with the notion of Elon Musk saying, now, Musk could be full of it, too. He could be. Brilliant guy, little crazy, which I like, or very crazy, which I like even more, because crazy sometimes is right. Like I told you, America chose crazy over broken last November. But the idea of a third party with a guy that has the economic muscle to do it, and the tech savvy, and the social media savvy to pull it off. Ross Perot didn't have that. John Anderson didn't have that. George Wallace didn't have that. Eugene Debs didn't have that. All the people that have mounted third, fourth, and fifth line challenges, they didn't have that expertise, even for the day. But now does somebody like Elon Musk or anybody else, Andrew Yang, another person may have mentioned that earlier, or even people here in Connecticut, look, somebody who may be disenchanted with the GOP here in Connecticut or maybe disenchanted with the Connecticut Democratic Party. See, I've always been, look, I've been a registered Republican for years and years because I want to participate in the primaries. That's the primary reason I do it, no pun intended. But having said that, yeah, we need more choices. I'm all for that. See, this is why ranked choice voting is really, for the most part, never going to happen here in the state. Because whether it's people on the state level, whether it's people in Hartford, or whether it's people on your local level, your major cities, they want fewer challenges, not more. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. They want fewer challenges, not more. So don't get all agog and excited about ranked choice voting here. But if you knew that a third party had a real shot on a national basis, would you join and take the slings and arrows of your friends who are lifelong Democrats and lifelong Republicans and say, my God, what are you doing? And you would tell them, go screw, I don't care what you think, in a nice way, in a friendly sort of way. Bob in Trumbull's here. Bob, how are you? What's up?
Reverend Paul, I thought we already had a third party. It's called independence. Isn't that why they call it the Declaration of Independence?
No. That's no. I hate to tell you, but no. Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
It's not?
No, Bob.
Are you sure?
We have an independent party in the state here, but their registration's about 35,000.
What?
Yeah. Well, what? Yeah.
I thought we did the Declaration of Independence and then we sent all these liberals back to where they belong.
Bob, you have to go answer whatever's ringing in the background there, Bob. Thank you so much. I don't do phone calls when stuff's ringing. I have enough trouble with the tinnitus after 42 years of headphones. Andy in Essex. Andy, how are you, sir? What's up?
Good. Nothing ringing here in Centerbrook.
Okay.
Paul.
Yeah.
Musk is not a U.S.-born citizen, so he can't be president. Who is he promoting to be the face of this new party?
I don't know. I've done a little reading on it today. I read about it on the weekend. Look, he's mad at Trump, and everybody knows that. But he is pointing out something interesting, Andy, in the red ink that this bill, generates here, just the way that when the Democrats are in trouble or in office, they generate more red ink too. So,
No, Mark Cuban indicated he may be interested in teaming up with them. I wonder if that's going to be their candidate.
Did he really say that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how legitimate it is, but I've read bits and pieces that Cuban might be interested in running, and he has some interest in a third party with Musk. But I'm getting real uncomfortable with Musk. He's starting to frighten me a little bit. Well,
look, he's and Andy, thank you for the call, my friend, out there in Centerbrook. Be good. Listen, Musk is I think in a good way, he's a bit crazy. We know that. Now, look, there have been allegations about, ketamine use and drug use or whatever. Okay, I get it. I understand that. He ain't perfect. He's had a number of kids by a number of different women. That I as long as somebody is doing something legally, I don't care. But what I do like about the guy is he's kind of like a damn the torpedoes guy, full speed ahead. Now, did I like everything he did with Doge? No. Did I like the way things ended up with him and Trump? No. But I think sometimes you have to take things on balance and weigh them with individual things happening. And I think in this case, he is right. And, is he upset at Trump still? Is he trying to throw a tantrum? Maybe. Is he right with the red ink on some of these aspects of this big, beautiful bill? I guess he is. But this has been done by both parties since the Clinton White House for years. And the fact of the matter is, whether Elon Musk or somebody else says it on the left or right, there's too much wrought polarization in the country right now. And it ain't good. It's not good. And you know what? You have people on the right and people on the left who both say these litmus tests aren't good and we have to have a broader tent. But the problem is when you introduce that broader tent, the forces on the far right of the Republican Party and the forces on the far left of the Democratic Party instantly start to cry and scream and bang their heads and saying, well, we're going to primary you. Now, can I ask those people that old phrase, who died and left you in charge? And it doesn't mean you have to compromise your principles, but on balance, who are you nominating? How are you acting with public policy? Because you cannot deny that the more polarized our politics has become, and the more that the nutcases are out there on the right and left using the power of social media, this has become bad. It's got to get diluted somehow. You have a Republican member of Congress or somebody running for the House on the Republican side in Georgia. Did you see this one over the weekend? She's saying that the flooding in Texas essentially was man-made. It was because of cloud seeding. See, this is why we need a third party. This is why we need a third party. And you have somebody on the left, equally as dumb, a Texas city employee, saying, hey, what are we going all crazy for here? Essentially, she was a Houston employee and she got bounced by the mayor. She essentially said, well, you know, if all those girls that in that camp that were killed if they all weren't white and Christian, nobody would really care as much. So, like I said, maybe a third party can dilute the crazy.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway southbound construction, exit 36 and 35. Northbound, you have it in Trumbull to exit 48. On the Wilbur Cross, northbound, it starts at exit 55. Southbound, you have it in Hampton through the tunnel past exit 59. Stay left to get around it. 91 southbound, more road work, exit 9 down through exit 3. Left lane is out. Route 8 northbound, construction starts exit 15. 84 eastbound, you have more road work, exits 3 through 5. And further eastbound, ongoing cleanup of an overturned vehicle. Exit 15, stay to the left to get around it. On Krause, WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
$25,000 could be yours. Catch the heaviest bluefish and walk away with the cash.
The Surfside Hotel Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth happening August 23rd and 24th all over Long Island Sound. Sign up now at bluefishtournament.com or area bait and tackle shops.
$40,000 in total prizes just for doing what you already love, fishing.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bluefish Tournament, and we'll see you on the Sound.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
You folks can chime in here if you like. 333-9422. Question of the day. Does the U.S. need a third viable major political party? Would you join the America Party, started by Elon Musk? He is sponsoring that. Whether you love or hate the guy, I think the idea is good. Robert in Bridgeport. Hang on.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The catastrophic floods in Texas have claimed at least 95 lives. Senator Ted Cruz.
The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state.
At least 27 victims were from a girls' camp. Reporter Karen Hua is following the search efforts for many who are still missing.
Day 4 of this continued search. We hear helicopters flying by every once in a while. There are boats and drones. Agencies from other states and Mexico have come to help in this effort.
A tropical system that developed over the weekend in the Carolinas has moved up the East Coast, but as Jim Krasula reports, it left at least one person dead and forced many to flee their homes in North Carolina.
As much as a foot of rain fell and hundreds had to be rescued. Many need to find a new place to live. Teza Satterwhite had to jump out of an apartment window to escape rapidly rising water in hard-hit Chapel Hill.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
Many roads and bridges were washed away and tens of thousands are without power. There was also widespread flooding across South Central Virginia. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
President Trump is sending letters to trading partners, warning them of tariffs by August 1st if they don't strike a trade deal. CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
Trading partners will have a few more weeks to kind of come back with their best offer, get their deals solidified before August 1st, or he's going to sort of let his original tariff rates snap back into place.
Trump sent the letters first to South Korea and Japan, warning them of 25% tariffs on their goods. A federal judge in Maryland is weighing the fate of Kilmore Abrego Garcia, as Scott McFarland reports.
Here's what Abrego Garcia wants. He wants to be returned to Maryland, from which he was deported, instead of being held in Tennessee, where he's facing a human smuggling charge. What's more, he does not want to be deported by the feds, as the Department of Justice has argued he is poised to be.
He was initially mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Nearly 100 members of the California National Guard and military vehicles are helping to protect immigration officers as they carry out a raid in Los Angeles today. The Defense Department insists it is not a military operation, though defense officials admit it may look like one. The U.S. has now recorded its worst measles epidemic in more than 30 years. Johns Hopkins University says 1,277 cases have now been confirmed in 40 of 50 states. On Wall Street, the Dow is off 479 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WICC 695.9. Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors begin their deliberations around 11 a.m. this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield Prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while he was being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 48-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. Free America rallies took place nationwide this weekend, including here in Connecticut. Many of the protests were in opposition to President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which he signed over the holiday weekend. Susan Vogel from the protest group Indivisible Stanford says that the bill in question is anything but beautiful.
We're looking at millions of Americans losing health care if this bill, this big, beautiful bill, which isn't any of those things, it's big, but it's not beautiful, actually becomes law. We're looking at children losing access to food, going hungry.
And the town of Stratford has voted to give the mayor a raise. The town council voted 7-3 last week to bring the salary of the mayor up from just over $131,000 to $150,000. The increase will include an annual 2.5% pay raise. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exits 47 and 48. Right lane is out, has things backing up into Fairfield. On 95 north, over an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. Definitely some breaks along the way, though. Out of New Haven, 95 south, just congestion delays through Baltimore. Same on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound going towards the tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Kitchen Corner. Visit Kitchen Corner in Fairfield, the headquarters for your cooking needs and grilling essentials, offering expert knife sharpening. 203-374-1118 or kitchen-corner.com. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for 2 parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
That is President Trump, I guess, sometime over the weekend. You could hear the drone on Air Force One there talking about reporters asking him, hey, sir, what do you think about your old pal, your former buddy, your confidant, the guy from Doge, Elon Musk, saying he wants to start the America Party. Could we use the America Party right here in Connecticut? See, don't laugh this off. Now, Musk is crazy. I love the guy. I do. Some of the stuff he does is a little nuts, but some of the most earth-shattering people have been deemed to be crazy. I like crazy because sometimes crazy is right. I prefer crazy over old, broken-down fossils. Bernie. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. And to people like Donald Trump and everywhere else who say, well, you know, it can't work. No. It can't work because people don't want it to work. Because I ask, for example, I'll give you examples on both sides here. Robert, hang on. We'll be right to you. Tim, hang on as well. If you're a Republican, and you're strong on the border, and you're strong on gun rights, but you're not for these big budget cuts in this big, beautiful bill, and maybe you're full head for abortion rights. Well, does your party make you happy? If you're a Democrat and you're full on for abortion rights and you want a path to citizenship for undocumented migrants, illegals, whatever you want to say. But on the other hand, you're a full-on Second Amendment guy or gal, and damn it, you want to own an AR-15. You're a literal reader of the Second Amendment. Shall not be abridged, or whatever the wording is of the Second Amendment. but you're also strong in abortion rights. You want higher taxes. But by the same time, you want less government regulation on business. You see what I mean? We have had these litmus tests now for 30, 40, 50 years, and sure, it's worked for the big parties. But is this, which I think is bad, is this really bad polarization going to rip us apart? I don't know. I think the country survives. But having said that, you never know. 203-333-9422, 333 WICC. Robert in Bridgeport. Robert, how are you? Hello.
Okay, how's it going?
I'm okay, Robert. What's on your mind on this Monday?
Oh, wow. Discussing the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been a registered libertarian since 18 years old.
Okay.
My family owned the coffee shop at Sikorsky Memorial Airport.
Oh, wow.
Way back when.
Wow.
When we had a great time then.
Yeah.
You know, nothing but political conversations, you know.
Yeah.
Throughout the day. But I was a huge fan of Ross Perot.
Yeah.
I thought Ross was a great guy. And I think Elon Musk could have a chance with success, including his businesses, and he did succeed more so. But, you know, politics and business and the whole deal, I would just love to see fresh blood pumped in the system. The Republicans seem to be adopting more libertarianism in their viewpoints, you know, and the Democrats just seem to be adopting more socialism. And
well, it seems to me, Robert, as both parties age out a little bit. I agree with you. It seems like, and it's not an absolute statement, it seems like the new blood you see in the Democratic side is a bit more left. And the new blood you see in the Republican side, I think you're right. I had that thought the other day, Robert, that, boy, they're sounding a bit more libertarian than the old country club Republican. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yes. The Tea Party kind of started it, initiated it, and then it's kind of escalated, you know, into last-ditch efforts, et cetera. But, you know, both parties just, you know, getting livid at each other is just a terrible idea. And it's just going to lead to another revolution based on ignorance of what the country actually needs, I think. You know?
Robert, thank you. Oh, go ahead. Do you have a final thought there? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's pretty much it.
All
That's
right.
my statement.
Robert.
But I work on left and right. So
Okay.
I do video at night, and I'm a carpenter during the day.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
I get to experience both sides of the coin, you know.
Sure. Robert, thank you. Appreciate it. Great stuff, too, about Sikorsky Airport as well. Yeah. So you tell me, where is the home of the person who is a full-on Second Amendment person, and don't tell me I can't buy an AR-15, but boy, abortion rights are important to me. And I think migrants need to have a path to citizenship. And you know, also on the other side, what about somebody who goes to pro-choice rallies and volunteers at clinics for, you know, Planned Parenthood or whatever, but wants the border locked down tight? Because the money that's spent on migrants is less for organizations like Planned Parenthood. Or maybe somebody who, you know, is a volunteer for the poor, but, you know, also, you know, don't tell me what kind of gun I can buy within reason. I mean, there are limits to the Second Amendment. Even wacko lefties like Antonin Scalia said that too. So was that what a third party might be? And listen, but does that mean Elon Musk is going to run for the White House? No. Well, he can't. He's foreign born. Is he crazy? Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? Sometimes, well, what do they say about a busted clock, too? Maybe it's about crazy, too. Twice a day, crazy is correct.
You know Connecticut has the best pizza in the entire country. That's why the best way to celebrate our state is by trying all the best pizza around. The Connecticut Pizza and Brew Fest with Brown Roofing, driven by Mazda of Milford, returns to the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater Sunday, July 20th. Get your tickets now at voiceofct.com. Food trucks, craft beer, live music, pizza panels, and so much more. Celebrate all things pizza at the Connecticut Connecticut Pizza and Brew Fest.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Carbuti with Carbuti Real Estate. If you're a solo individual real estate agent who's been struggling and working for yourself, by yourself in this industry, and you've ever thought about joining a high-producing real estate team to help you increase your business and explode to the next level, go to CarBeautyRealEstate.com and click the Join Our Team page. That's CarBeautyRealEstate.com. Click the Join Our Team page.
Sell your home smoothly when you call Car Beauty. Go to CarBeautyRealEstate.com.
When it comes to getting the guaranteed lowest price on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. And when it comes to getting more free services for life than anywhere else on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. So when you're in the market for the best deal on Falcon tires, get to Town Fair, because nobody beats a Town Fair tire deal. And I mean absolutely nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Whoever said all good things must come to an end did not have a Renai tankless water heater. Hi, this is Seamus from Tri-City Home Solutions. Renai tankless water heaters offer unlimited hot water for the most demanding residential and commercial applications. You can save up to $1,000 on the installation of a new water heater now until July 31st with Tri-City and Renai. Visit us at TriCityHomeSolutions.com. Never run out of hot water again.
Call 203-877-HEAT. Tri-City.
Hey, Joe, what happened to your teeth? They look amazing.
Oh, you know, years of root canals, crowns, gum treatments. I got tired of it all. So I went to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They removed my bad teeth and gave me permanent new ones. Same day.
Wait, you walked out with new teeth?
Yep, it's called All for One. They place 4 implants and attach a full set of connected teeth. It's not 4 teeth, it's a full smile. I feel like a new man.
Call Columbia Implant Center at 860-730-6020. All for One. One day, one life-changing smile.
It's time to make an appointment to tour Forest Hills Milford, one of the newest luxury rental 55 and over communities in Connecticut. Step into a home where every detail is designed to offer ease and comfort. Forest Hills Milford's spacious, brand new luxury apartments include assigned garage parking with elevator access and use modern technologies to bring ease and comfort to everyday living. Nestled in the beauty of Milford, close to beaches, golf, marinas, and more. Visit foresthillsmilford.info to learn more. Forest Hills Milford, home made easy.
You're listening to WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut, broadcasting from Cadillac of Greenwich Studios, CadillacofGreenwich.com.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exits 47 and 48. Right lane is out as things backing up into Fairfield. On 95 north, over an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. Definitely some breaks along the way, though. Out of New Haven, 95 south, just congestion delays through Long Wharf. Same on the way across north and southbound going towards the tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Kitchen Corner. Visit Kitchen Corner in Fairfield, the headquarters for your cooking needs and grilling essentials. Offering expert knife sharpening. 203-374-1118 or kitchen-corner.com. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Saying what you need to hear. Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli. Only on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Got a text here before we go to Tim, and you can text me whatever you like, 203-333-9422. Hi, Paul. Please just be a little more critical of info out there. Be more open-minded to different perspectives. Don't believe everything you hear. Research it. I assume this is a remark I made earlier about me reading over the weekend the blowback that a congressional candidate in Georgia, and my God, Georgia, what is wrong with you on both sides of the aisle? We have a congressional candidate out there saying, and by the way, she then pulled back on it, saying that the flooding in Texas was because of weather modification. Okay, where's your proof? Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy person, but if you're going to be running for a seat in the U.S. Congress, and you're saying, hey, you know, what did she say? Fake, phony, whatever. I'm reading this going, this can't be real. Well, it was well, they're doing weather modification. All right, then give me details. Again, I apply the Watergate litmus test. If we're talking about litmus tests here, right? You and I, a lot of us are old enough. We watched those hearings. I was 11 years old in 1972. I was sitting in front of my the black and white TV we had on the porch. The good TV was in the rest of the house. Ooh. Well, the black and white set, and I'm watching, John Dean spill Richard Nixon's guts all over and people enraptured with this. Well, if we're doing weather modification, all right, who's doing it? Why is it being done? Who's flying the flights? You know how hard it is to modify weather. But I'm assuming this is what this text is. So thank you for the text, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. The world's been around for what, 4, 5, 6 billion years? We need to stop assuming that because we have these really bad storms, this loss of life, like this is somehow caused by the government or by some sort of secret organization. You know who's more powerful than the feds, no matter how many weapons the feds have? Mother Nature. Wind currents, humidity levels, pressure gradients, storms. Please, we have all this machinery and we still won't win a war with Mother Nature, as the late great George Carlin used to say. The earth, nothing's wrong with the earth. It's the people. He said the earth is fine. It's been around for billions of years. Survived dinosaurs, as he used to say, meteor hits, acid in the atmosphere, all that neat stuff. Tim in Hamden's here. Tim, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm supposed to follow that. Okay. Well,
I saw that tweet over the weekend, and I just went nuts. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, before I get into that, by the way, I think the third hour of the Ozzy Osbourne final concert thing was the best. No, of the 8 hours.
Yeah, well,
8 hours of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, no, it was a bunch of bands. It was a bunch of bands you saw who were in me, and I thought it was great that he was out there, and Bill Ward playing with no shirt on, and it was quite the thing. So listen, you know what it is, Tim. Honestly, and I'll let you make your point. I'm glad you brought that up because for about the past 20 years, Ozzy Osbourne, to a lot of people, has been this character on reality TV, which to a lot of us, we knew of him way before that and the influence this guy had.
Yes, when he was a character of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I'll skip over the Lowell Weicker reference to the Watergate thing and go, were you talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because she's been into that stuff for a long time.
No, this
is a different.
Yeah,
she's running for Senate.
This woman put it. I think she's running for a House seat in Georgia. And I read. I read it. And I went, really, just
Well, there's a lot of people into that stuff. Let me tell you. You start talking Kennedy assassination, your phone will ring off the wall and stuff here.
But just give me the evidence. That's all I want.
No, well, as we've first off, Mr. Trump, you might, you're not a Republican, so the party you glammed onto was an example of a third and fourth party, which was the Republican Party of Lincoln, that actually did succeed. So you don't know what you're doing, of course, and you don't know your own history because the Republican Party was an alternative out there, and they went out and Lincoln won. And, so once again, people don't understand, even the most basics of politics. You can't be, Elon Musk trying to start a third party where you don't have, 2 or 3 major issues that you can really talk with people about. If all you want is just a little, revenge thing against, some of your Trump-backed, people and stuff. Maybe. Then form a pact and, do that sort of stuff. But, it's going to be very hard to mobilize people, to collect millions of signatures, let alone to be on a national ballot, and then someone like Ross Perot. By the way, I was involved heavily in his campaign.
I liked him. I liked him. I really did.
Well, he got like 20% of the vote.
Yeah.
So that means he got some money, and then people like Pat Buchanan and others wanted that like $18 million he was going to get, and they blanked it all to blank. After that, that's the real shame.
Yeah.
But people are out there. People want to, they're turning less and less to the politics, because the politics of everybody is just, we want to stick our nose into your business, whether it's human rights, this, that, the other. Listening to local Republicans, and I'll leave you with this. What is their stance on? They want to take away the right for someone to become a trans person over 18. If you come over 18 and you're a man and you want to be a woman, oh no, you can't do that.
Well, well, that's
to
dumb.
do.
That's dumb. And Tim, thank you for the call. Listen, if you're an adult, do whatever you want. Make love to a tree. Alter your organs, the twig and berries or the beans and franks. Do whatever you want when you're an adult. Now, that to me, I would go to a fellow Republican and say, you're nuts. You're crazy. That's crazy talk. Now, if you want to keep it so minors cannot get gender reassignment surgery or get access to hormone therapy while they're minors. Now, maybe you can convince me of that.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exits 47 and 48. Right lane is out, has things backing up into Fairfield. On 95 north, over an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. Definitely some breaks along the way, though. Out of New Haven, 95 south, just congestion delays through Long Wharf. Same on the Wilkes Cross north southbound going towards the tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Kitchen Corner. Visit Kitchen Corner in Fairfield, the headquarters for your cooking needs and grilling essentials, offering expert knife sharpening. 203-374-1118 or kitchen-corner.com. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below and low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work. Know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
For 135 years, Spectre Furniture on Main Street, Ansonia has been more than a store. They've been a tradition. Crafted with care and built to last, Spectre's American-made furniture and mattresses blend timeless quality with modern comfort. From generation to generation, Spectre's has furnished homes with warmth and style. Come celebrate 135 years of excellence. Visit Spectre Furniture in Ansonia today, where quality stands the test of time. Main Street, Ansonia. SpectreFurniture.com.
Investing in the stock market certainly has its ups and downs. Perhaps it's time to redeploy some of your investment assets. One asset class you may not be aware of is mass tort legal cases. For example, we're talking about Roundup and mesothelioma, where smart money has been investing in mass torts for a few decades with continued profits. We are Paragon Analytics AI. We use advanced data mining and AI techniques to find valid mass tort legal cases. We're looking for accredited investors to invest as little as $25,000 with a guaranteed fixed return to our investors. Call 888-WITH-PARAGON today to find out more. There's no cost, no obligation. If you can invest $25,000 or more, join the smart money and get with Paragon at 888-WITH-PARAGON. That's 888-WITH-PARAGON. Again, 888-948-4727.
Investment involves risk. Consult with your financial professional before investing.
Connecticut Paid Leave, making time for life's most important moments.
To recover from illness or injury.
To give your employees peace of mind.
To welcome home an active duty service member.
To help a loved one get better.
To get help for your mental health.
To welcome a new addition to your family.
To leave an unsafe home.
Learn more about accessing the benefits of Connecticut Paid Leave. Visit ctpaidleave.org.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. The death toll is at least 90 in the Texas floods, 27 of the victims from a girls' camp. CBS's Jason Allen has been following the search.
Officials here say that they rescued more than 850 people over the last 3 days, some of them from the tops of trees and others from rooftops.
A tropical system that kicked up in the Carolinas over the weekend is moving off the East Coast. One person is dead and two missing in North Carolina.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
Israel's prime minister will meet with President Trump at the White House later today to discuss the latest ceasefire proposal for Gaza. Correspondent Natalie Brand has some details.
It includes a 60-day pause in fighting or 60-day ceasefire, aid for Gaza, and release of at least some of the remaining 50 hostages.
On Wall Street, stocks are lower over more threatened tariffs on Asian goods. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors began their deliberations around 11 this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while he was being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 40-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. A 17-year-old boy who was pulled unresponsive from a pond in Danbury has died. The unidentified child was reported as a missing swimmer on Friday at a pond near Long Ridge Road. The swimmer was located by first responders and taken to the hospital, but he did not survive. The boy's death remains under investigation. 3 people were taken to the hospital after a boat crashed into rocks along the Bridgeport shore. Police say the crash happened Saturday night in the area of Monument and Soundview Drive. The 3 people on board suffered injuries described as minor by police. The victims have not been identified. A man was rescued Sunday after he jumped off a boat in the Housatonic River in Shelton and tried to swim ashore. Evidently, the man began struggling in the water after jumping in and went beneath the surface. A person passing by on another boat jumped in and rescued the man. State Environmental Conservation Police responded to the incident and said the man was treated on the shore, then transported to Griffin Hospital in Derby in stable condition. The massive flooding in Texas has drawn comparisons to Connecticut's own disastrous flood in the Naugatuck Valley last summer.
Flash flooding happens in an instant, as we saw last year in August in Oxford. If you remember that, we had nearly 2 feet of rain in just, a matter of hours.
WICC meteorologist Paul Piorek spoke about what made this area of Texas so susceptible.
It's got a lot of dirt, and it does not absorb the water. What happens is the water runs down the dirt, and it will add up instantly. And again, 26 feet of water in a matter of hours.
Over 80 people died in Texas over the weekend, with dozens more still missing. A man has been charged with drunk driving after his car went into a pond in downtown Milford. The vehicle apparently was involved in a hit-and-run crash on Shipyard Lane moments before splashing into the pond behind the Stonebridge restaurant early yesterday morning. A police officer who was nearby saw the crash and jumped into the water and was able to rescue the man from the car. Leading up to the holiday weekend, state police had urged Connecticut drivers to drive responsibly.
Especially 4th of July, we're expected to see more traffic, more gatherings, and with that, obviously, that can oftentimes result in more accidents and seeing more drunk drivers or even wrong-way drivers on the road.
The unidentified man is charged with DUI and evading responsibility. State police have released traffic statistics for the holiday weekend. 330 crashes were reported from this past Thursday through Sunday, 3 of which were fatal. These numbers are almost identical to 2024, where state police reported 332 crashes with only 1 fatality. 29 DUI arrests were also made during that same time period. State Trooper Ramonda Zuta said that the 4th of July is one of the most dangerous times of year for Connecticut roadways.
4th of July, a lot of people are obviously going to get together with their friends. There's going to be drinks included or going out somewhere. So oftentimes we'll get calls for erratic operation, and which would lead to most oftentimes DUI arrests.
A new federal highway report says that Connecticut's roads need a lot of work. The recent study was compiled by the Highway Performance Monitoring System and seemed to suggest that Connecticut roads are among the worst in the country. However, Dr. Eric Jackson from the State Transportation Institute told WTNH-TV News 8 that the numbers are slightly misleading.
So the HPMS started in 1978. It's a way for the federal government to basically just track the quality of roads throughout the country. Connecticut, is being a small state, we're able to collect a significant amount of data on all of our state roads.
Connecticut's size means that a larger amount of our road issues are found, reported, and addressed correspondingly. And the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has dispatched a team of Connecticut firefighters to help fight wildfires in Alaska. DEEP's Forestry Division deployed a 20-member team to Alaska Friday. DEEP officials say they did so under a reciprocal aid program operated by the U.S. Forest Service. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exit 47 and 48. Stay 11 to get through. Backup starts in No Man's Land in Fairfield. 95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. Some breaks along the way through. Further ahead on 95, you're bunching up in both directions through Milford and West Haven. We'll cross southbound. Congestion delays through Hampton going down into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Edge Krause with WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
If Greenwich is talking about it, so is Paul. Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut being the blue state that it is, which is what the voters want. Nothing wrong with that as long as the elections are legitimate. We don't really see or feel what maybe a lot of other folks in the country feel, and would that be eased a little bit by a third party? Again, this has been a D versus R, a blue versus red, a left versus right country, generally for decades. But are we at a point now where our politics is so polarized that a third party, we're talking a major third party here, a party that could actually compete? I know the Libertarians are out there. I know the Green Party is out there. I know the Working Families Party is out there. I know the Democratic Socialists are out there. I know the Communist Party is out there. God bless all these parties. Good on you for wanting to get more involved here. But does the country need, I guess what Elon Musk is suggesting here. Mr. Musk over the weekend says, yeah, he's putting the wheels in motion. Now, maybe this is just sour grapes because of his relationship with Trump and where that went. But Elon Musk says here on Saturday appeared to confirm his intention to launch his America Party after posting a poll to his X account the prior day asking followers whether or not he should create the new party. Now, is he going to say something that makes him look bad? No, of course not, but it makes you think. So I chose to ask today because I thought about this. I pondered this at great length over the weekend. 203-333-9422. Would you join up, or would you be interested in joining a new America party? Does the U.S., whether it's Elon Musk or Mark Cuban or somebody like that, or maybe here in Connecticut, should there be an America party Connecticut? And I guess the reason you would want that is to get disaffected Republicans on some side who may have some, liberal leanings in other areas, and to get disaffected, Democrats on some side, on the other side, who would wish their party was a little more flexible on guns or on the border or on spending cuts, just the way you have some Republicans who, maybe are saying, well, we need to be just a skosh more understanding of abortion rights, because I'm telling you, there is a significant amount of people out there in both camps. I really do. I really, really believe that. Honest to God, I do. But, of course, both parties, with their funding and the billionaires and everything, now I sound like who. I'm tired of this. Are they going to, are there suddenly going to be donors? I don't know. So check it out. Text me, call 333-9422. And Elon Musk says, by the way, we put that on our Facebook page, he's going to form the America Party with a free X account. No, just kidding. That's me. And a discount on Teslas. So I decided to ask today, does the U.S. need a third major political party, a viable one? Not the flatulence party who's registered in a couple of states and, we don't need that. No, you know what I mean. A viable party. Remember, Ross Perot didn't really have a party. John Anderson didn't really have a party. George Wallace didn't really have a party. Eugene Debs was a socialist. I think he was representing the Socialist Party of America. And it's happened throughout the years. But boy, do I think it's needed now, unless both sides start to moderate a little bit and say, hey, we'll have a hard left and hard right, but let's battle over people in the middle, even more to an extent than we're doing that now. Randy, hang on. Bob in Fairfield's been hanging on a while. Bob, how are you, sir? What's up?
I'm all right. The weather modification technology.
Yeah.
Whether or not the Texas event was caused by that or not, I don't have enough information.
Yeah.
However, during the Vietnam War, the military has finally disclosed they were very proud of their ability to start the monsoon season early, to increase the amount of rain during the monsoon season, and to make it run late. Why did they want so much rain? Because the Viet Cong were living underground in tunnels.
Yep.
Flood them out. So weather modification technology is not new.
Oh, no, of course not. No.
And you have the HAARP, HAARP antenna array, and that is capable of modifying the weather as well. And then the chemtrail program, where they're spraying metals and other things, it's used to amplify the effects of the HAARP antenna array. And HAARP is just one of many of that type of thing. So, yes, we have had weather modification for some time. Was Texas? I don't have enough information to say one way or the other. But, yeah, for whoever the woman was that was talking about weather modification technology, it exists. It's real.
Oh, no, and Bob, I do have to run. Thank you for the call. No, I never disputed whether it was real. Oh, no, listen, in fact, the Chinese do it too, they've admitted. My point is, if you're going to say, and I could read you her exact tweet, I'll find it. If you're going to say that this was caused in Texas by weather modification, and you're running for Congress from a red state, well, actually kind of purplish now, from a red state, you'd better have your evidence lined up.
Are the taxes on your financial savings cutting into your retirement? Do you truly understand the taxes on your IRAs and 401ks? Would you like a future where your taxes are minimized and investments are sound? If you're nearing or in retirement, have at least a $250,000 portfolio, Bridgelight Financial Advisors can help. Call for a complimentary consultation. They'll show you real tax savings on your savings. 203-795-7080. 203-795-7080. Bridgelight Financial Advisors, your retirement tax strategy specialists.
Hungry for inspiration in the kitchen? Join us Saturdays at 3 p.m. on WICC for Plum Love Foods, your ultimate food talk destination.
Hey, it's Chef Plum. I'm a 6-time Emmy-nominated chef with over 30 years in the industry. And unlike other food shows, we don't just talk about food. We actually work in the hospitality industry. Learn about some awesome food people in our state, or just have a laugh because it's just food. Plum Love Foods. No agenda, no politics, just food.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exit 47 and 48. Stay left to get through. Backup starts in no man's land in Fairfield. 95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. Some breaks along the way through. Further ahead on 95, you're bunching up both directions through Milford and West Haven. We'll cross southbound, congestion delays through Hampton going down into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Edge Krause with WICC traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
As your day winds down, he's only just getting warmed up. You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Oh, man, and just like clockwork, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was not involved at least a couple of days ago in this weather modification theory. I'm not saying weather modification doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. But again, she is just, I'm telling you, my fellow Republicans out there who laugh about AOC, go ahead. We have MTG. You guys got AOC. We have MTG. So I guess it all balances out. But now I'll just read you the headline here. Marjorie Taylor Greene to introduce a weather modification bill. Oh, my God. Oh. With no evidence. With no evidence. Like I said, I'll believe anything. Give me some evidence. Remember, like I said, I hate to keep referring to it, but remember, Watergate's nothing. It's a bunch of guys who have a hard-on over Nixon. Well, how'd that work out? When somebody said, by the way, the evidence you want, sit down. We're going to talk about this for 8 days. Randy in Easton. Randy, how are you, sir?
Hi. This is all new to me.
What?
With the weather modification
Yes.
technology, while I was on hold,
Yes.
I figured, what the heck, let me just do a quick search. And I went to NOAA, National Oceanographic, you know what I mean, the weather guys and gals.
Yeah.
They do have an article, fact check, debunking weather modification claims. Probably worth reading.
Yeah, and this has been experimented with over the years, and even China's admitted. But you can't look from. And Randy, you're right. And I read about this. They say, well, we kind of can do it for a short period of time. Now, again, Randy, I'm the kind of guy where if somebody says, all right, yeah, we did cause it, and here's how we did it, and I'll raise my hand in front of Congress.
Me too.
And then, all right, give me the popcorn. I'll watch this.
And also, one would think we'd avoid drought if we had this technology.
Well, hello, yeah.
You know, one would think, why? What our state goes through these fire alerts all the time and drought and anyway. That's not why I called, but it just kind of crept in there. Third party thing.
Yeah.
I think the peril. I mean, I'd support one, but my version of what a third party would look like is quite different than yours and every other listener you have.
All right.
I don't think it's going to be a compromise. I don't think Elon. Let me rephrase that. I don't think Elon is thinking of a compromise between the D's and the R's. I don't think that's in his. He's so ticked off at the big beautiful bill. He wants to make it worse. He wants to cut more government. I mean, he's going to make Trump look like Bernie. In my view, if he forms a party, and I think what these guys miss, they always go for the Hail Mary. The third party exists to put my guy or my gal into the presidency. You know, why don't you start at the grassroots? Why don't you get a party going that gets some local people going in state houses and get some people in Congress? And it may take a decade, but boil it up, and then you can serve up somebody. But I don't know. I'd love a third party if it looks like a third party I wanted, but you know, I think we should just say it's an additional party.
2 words, Randy.
What?
Harold Stassen.
Oh God, he's our man. How many times? I forget.
Like
over 12? A course of like 30 years.
Yeah, like 12 times.
For all you listeners who don't know, this was a guy who ran for president every 4 years. Forever. I forget, was he Republican?
I think he
was he a Dem?
I don't know. And everybody always used to say how nice of a man he was, and he cared. But yeah, like Harold Stassen's.
This is his time. This is the one. And the guy didn't even. I mean, he didn't get 6 votes.
I know. Oh man, Randy. Enjoy life. And what's new in Easton these days? You know, because you seem to be like one of those unofficial guys, like a head of state. What's new in Easton?
That's right. Yeah.
What can you tell me that would tell somebody, hey, come to Easton for what?
Well, Easton overall, unless they're building a house next door to you, which is happening to me, it's a very tranquil place.
Yes.
Lots of very leafy, as people say. Not much of a town. We have 2.
Yeah.
9 general stores and one's now a takeout restaurant.
Wow. Woo.
I know. And we have like 1 gas station, maybe 2.
Yeah.
We do have a wonderful diner
called
the Bluebird Diner,
nice.
Which is right on what they call 4 corners where Easton, Fairfield, Weston, and Westport meet.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it,
kids. We have no tax base of commerce in this town. If you want to get away from it all, and the other thing about Easton is nothing changes.
Well,
I think I told you a year ago we had that 1,000-year flood.
Yeah.
I had a brook underneath my driveway, and it washed out my driveway.
Yeah.
Oh, the permits I had to go through. You know, going to the town, like I just want to replace the driveway. Dude, thou shalt not change it. They let me do it. It worked out because
you got to get to you got to get to your house. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's what I tipped them. But this town doesn't change a lot. Let me tell you, I've been living in it for 30-plus years. Not a lot of change in Easton. So if you like rapid change, and it will be interesting, I'll leave it at this.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in this town when they enforce affordable housing. What would happen? Where would it go?
That's going to be a while. But let me leave you with this. Now, I can tell you're back home in Easton. Which gig did you play this weekend? The Ozzy Osbourne gig or the Oasis or the Oasis reunion?
Did you see the Ozzy video?
Yeah, well,
no, I mean I felt bad for the guy. It was very people in the audience were crying. He's saying, "Mama, I'm coming home."
Yeah, I did see that.
No, he looked bad.
Yeah,
you just feel for the guy. I know he's talk about crazy, but you really he is kind of shaking. His legs were shaking.
Sure.
He's saying.
Yeah, he sang.
The band was great. The crowd loved him, but it was very poignant. I felt for him. Not my cup of tea, but you got to hand it to the career the guy's had.
Oh my God,
stunning!
And all the other acts that showed up to pay homage to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, he earned it all.
Well,
they say he got the job in Black Sabbath because he was the guy that had a PA. he had a public address. So they're like, okay, you can join the band now.
And like I said earlier, Randy, I think that was good because A, it showed how many people loved him, and B, to probably a generation now, going back to the early 2000s. Oh, that's the mumbling British guy on reality TV.
Sharon.
No. This guy. Learn. I told some young people, learn about him previous to that. Yeah.
No, gotta hand it to him. What a career.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. See you,
Take
man.
care. There you go. Yeah, folks. I don't know if you were into the music necessarily, but the guy from the Osbourne, Sharon, and then the wife began the Osbourne kids and everything. But Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, had his last show this weekend. Had to sit throughout the whole show. He's had some neurological problems, back problems, neck problems, but influenced millions and millions and millions of people. 203-333-9422, 333 WICC. Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to introduce a weather modification bill. I'm introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, and or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. Okay. I've been researching weather modification and working with the Legislative Council on this for months, she says. All right. Again, I'm all for all voices here, but I just ask, this goes back to my days lugging a microphone and a cassette recorder around and actually talking to people. Well, sir or ma'am, you allege this. What is your proof? What is your proof? Oh, and by the way, before we go to the break here, this congressional candidate, what is her name? Candice, Kandiss, Taylor, a Republican running to represent Georgia in the U.S. House, posted on X on Saturday, quote, fake weather, fake hurricanes, fake flooding, fake. Fake weather, real damage. Hurricane Helene left me powerless for 16 days and caused $57,000 in damage. This is not climate change. It's cloud seeding, geoengineering, the manipulation. If fake weather causes real tragedy, that's murder. Pray, prepare, question the narrative. Whew. Traffic and weather together right here on WICC.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exit 47 and 48. Stay left to get through. Backup starts in no man's land in Fairfield. 95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. Some breaks along the way through. Further ahead on 95, you're bunching up both directions through Milford and West Haven. We'll across southbound, congestion delays through Hamden going down into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Edge Krause with WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Craving a delicious meal? Head to Frankie's Diner, the go-to spot for comfort food at 1660 Barnum Ave in Bridgeport. For over 90 years, Frankie's has been serving diner classics using the freshest ingredients, open 7 days a week and 24/7 on the weekends. Whether you're an early bird, hungry for lunch, or a night owl, enjoy Frankie's. Plus, party rooms available for your next family or office event. Become part of the Frankie's family. Frankie's Diner, 1660 Barnum Ave in Bridgeport.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Back to the news and talk, thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut, WICC 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
And this case shows you the double-edged sword of social media. You have this woman running for the Congress in Georgia alleging that what happened in Texas was geoengineered. It's fake. It's not climate change. It's not real. Now, there could be people saying, well, you know, because of social media, people can start researching and looking. Okay. And then again, because of social media, you have a scenario where 30, 40, 50 years ago, somebody would scream this stuff on the street corner and nobody would care. And now she says this stuff. And you don't think a family that has lost a loved one in this flooding is being made to feel more pain by this stuff? People just shut your mouths.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The death toll in Texas is now 95 from the flooding, and dozens are still missing. Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring.
Primary search continues, and we remain hopeful every foot, every mile, every bend of the river.
27 of the victims were from a girls' camp. Correspondent Jason Allen.
This was just covered in mud and tree branches, and this is a camp that just sits right up on the banks of the Guadalupe River. This would have been a very difficult spot for them to find any sort of higher ground to run to.
While the recovery efforts continue, assistance has arrived.
Help is pouring into Kerr County, Texas, thanks to volunteers and the Salvation Army.
It is a shock for our community.
Major Phil Swires is with the local chapter.
This for us is personal. We have 2 employees here at the Salvation Army whose house went off the foundation. They lost everything.
He says they're giving out 800 meals a day, 5,000 drinks, and have 4 food trucks for those impacted and for those volunteering.
In a world currently where it just seems everything is so divided, it has been amazing to see this community come together.
Matt Piper, CBS News.
A tropical storm developed and moved inland over the Carolinas this weekend, bringing torrential rains and floods. Jason Wilburn is sheriff in hard-hit Person County, North Carolina.
Born and raised here in Person County, I've seen remnants of hurricanes come through and, strong thunderstorms and produce, flash flooding in the area, but nothing of this magnitude across, especially our western part of the county, with the road closures and the road washouts.
Israel's prime minister is back in Washington to talk with President Trump about Iran and Gaza. Stacey Lynn reports.
This will be a dinner to talk about Operation Midnight Hammer, which was incredibly successful, to talk about peace in Gaza and ending that conflict.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says that's the most important priority for the president right now, ending the war in Gaza and returning all the hostages.
A agreeable and appropriate ceasefire proposal has been sent to Hamas.
And she says Special Envoy Witkoff will be traveling to Doha later this week, where he will continue to engage in these discussions. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
Ed O'Keefe reports President Trump's been busy alerting trading partners about an August 1st deadline to reach a trade deal.
Pushing all of these deadlines now into the next month. And as he does that today, he will be issuing up to 14 letters to specific countries, laying out the terms of U.S. trade with those countries in the coming years.
On Wall Street, investors were very worried about the trade war escalating again. The Dow finished the day 422 points lower. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Pro USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-444-9112. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Pro USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-444-9112. 800-444-9112. That's 800-444-9112.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
State police have released traffic statistics for the holiday weekend. 330 crashes were reported from this past Thursday through Sunday, 3 of which were fatal. These numbers are almost identical to 2024, where state police reported 332 crashes with only 1 fatality. 29 DUI arrests were also made during that same time period. State Trooper Ramonda Zuda said that the 4th of July is one of the most dangerous times of the year for Connecticut roadways.
4th of July, a lot of people are obviously going to get together with their friends. There's going to be drinks included or going out somewhere. So oftentimes we'll get calls for erratic operation, and which would lead to most oftentimes DUI arrests.
And a man has been charged with drunk driving after his car went into a pond in downtown Milford. The vehicle apparently was involved in a hit-and-run crash on Shipyard Lane moments before splashing into the pond behind the Stonebridge restaurant early yesterday morning. A police officer who was nearby saw the crash and jumped into the water and was able to rescue the man from the car. Leading up to the holiday weekend, state police had urged Connecticut drivers to drive responsibly.
Especially 4th of July, we're expected to see more traffic, more gatherings, and with that, obviously, that can oftentimes result in more accidents and seeing more drunk drivers or even wrong-way drivers on the road.
The unidentified man is charged with DUI and evading responsibility. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Upper Merritt northbound, late running construction, exit 47 and 48. Stay left to get through. Backup starts in no man's land in Fairfield. 95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. Some breaks along the way through. Further ahead on 95, you're bunching up both directions through Milford and West Haven. We'll cross southbound, congestion delays through Hampton going down into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Edge Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Hey, coming up, we'll break down the governor's race next year. Another member of the General Assembly on the Democratic side telling the governor maybe he should step aside. So the angst among the left-leaning part of the General Assembly in Hartford on display again with a major op-ed. We'll tell you about that. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Though we started with this because this kind of made a little bit of news on the weekend, wondering whether or not the nation might be ready for a major third party. There are plenty of third, fourth, fifth parties, but one with maybe some muscle behind it.
And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
That's the president on Air Force One talking to reporters. The he is Elon Musk. And our question of the day today, Facebook.com/voice of CT. Does the U.S. need a viable third major political party? Elon Musk wants to start the America Party. Would you join it? And, of course, about this time every day, the intrepid Chris Williams is sifting through the answers of our question again with the express instructions to leave out all obscenities there and stuff that may make you feel a bit discouraged. Chris, what do you have for us on this question?
They're all long-winded answers.
All right, well, do some visual editing. Yes, yes.
Not a very pragmatic plan, says Corinne, unless the goal is to hand the midterms to the Democrats in 2026. We have needed a viable alternative for a while, since about 2012 from John. I'm not a fan of Musk, but both of the main parties are too splintered. While Anthony says it's time for a change. It's crazy. It took a South African to do it, and it might actually stick. I feel like the name America Party was from the Purge movie series. And Joe says a third party is needed, one that is socially liberal, fiscally responsible, pro-education, and anti-PAC, but nothing involving that individual.
All right. Anti-PAC. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Could that ever possibly happen? A political party that does not take money from political action committees or whatever. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Talk or text, but does the U.S. need a viable third major political party? There are numerous parties out there. The Libertarians are out there. The Working Families Party is out there. The Green Party is out there. The Democratic Socialists are out there. We're not saying there aren't third parties, but what about the viability of such? And again, if you went ahead and did that, even on a state level here in Connecticut, are you not then, in some way, shape, or form, creating a parliamentary system? Jack in Stamford is here. Jack, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Boy, you teed it off right perfectly there for me. All you have to do is go ahead and look at the Dáil in Ireland, the House of Commons in England, look at Italy with all the parties. We can't even get things done with two parties. And don't forget, we have three parties because we've got independents like Bernie Sanders and somebody else.
Yeah, and in Connecticut, you've got the Independent Party, which has about 40,000 folks in it. Yeah,
and you have them. And as you had said, you went back to Ross Perot had more money than God in those days, and he wasn't able to pull off anything. Didn't Joe Lieberman run on the independents for Lieberman? I mean, we have them. We can't get anything done with all these people, et cetera. It's just amazing.
You don't sound optimistic, Jack.
The only optimism you have is to make me emperor of the Americas. I'll take care of it.
Americas. Of all the Americas? I
just want North America. No, just North America. We've got English as the official language, so we can we can annex Montreal, and we can annex Mexico. We just put up a big wall there on the border with Davis and everything, and set that up there, and we'll straighten it out. I'll fix your tax code, etc. Put everybody off the dole. I mean, it'll work out pretty well. So that was the time off. I had a few things to talk to you about, and I forgot them all.
I did celebrate the independence of our nation by sleeping late. It was good. So,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. We're going through the big, beautiful bill now. We're looking through it. People are diligently going through it to see what we've got going on there, and et cetera. That's that.
Well, please.
8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago till about football, though.
I know. That's what you're looking forward to. Jack, thank you. And Jack, the Vice President of Finance here on Connecticut Today, will keep us up to date with the tax implications of the aforementioned big, beautiful bill.
You're not always near your radio, but you still want to stay informed on Fairfield County matters. There are lots of ways to enjoy WICC beyond your radio at 695.9. Stream us free at work on voiceofct.com or on your smartphone by downloading our app. And now it's easier than ever to listen on your smart speaker when you say, play WICC. The voice of Connecticut is always live, local, and free, wherever you are.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor. Is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
For quick and convenient care, visit Hartford Healthcare Urgent Care today. From cold and flu symptoms, routine immunizations, physical exams, and even x-rays, our urgent care locations are open 7 days a week to fit your busy schedule. With 9 locations across Fairfield County, it's easy to find an office nearest your home, work, or school. Walk in today for same-day appointment or visit hartfordhealthcareurgentcare.org to find a location and save your spot online.
You're listening to WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut, broadcasting from Cadillac of Greenwich Studios, CadillacofGreenwich.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about your future as you age. Where do you want to live? Would you like to remain in your home? Have you thought about changing care needs? MyPlaceCT.org connects you with resources that can help you make a plan to live how you want. If you're an older adult or person with a disability, you'll find information on services and supports. Find the help you need to plan for the future you want. Visit MyPlaceCT.org. That's MyPlaceCT.org.
No part of your home is more important than the roof over your head. Hi, I'm Eddie Griffin, the owner of Brown Roofing, your local expert for roof replacement and roof repair. Water resistant, weather resistant, wind resistant, our products offer superior protection that come with a 50-year lifetime transferable warranty. Call us today at 475-445-1195 or visit us at brownroofing600.com. Brown won't let you down.
If you've been injured in an accident caused by someone else's negligence, don't bear the burden alone. The physical, emotional, and financial strains can be overwhelming. You have the right to seek compensation for all of your losses. That compensation includes medical expenses, lost wages, and damage to your vehicle, as well as compensation for the impact the accident has on your life physically and emotionally. Get Ganem Injury Lawyers. You don't have to suffer alone. George Ganem will be by your side. GanemInjuryLawyers.com.
Go to voiceofct.com and click on contests. Enter to win tickets to see Rumors of Fleetwood Mac at Toyota Oakdale Theater October 31st. Tickets on sale Friday through Live Nation.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
95 northbound, at least an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. The Parkway northbound is the way to go. Out of New Haven, 95 north and southbound, busy but moving through Long Wharf, West Haven to Milford. And 84 eastbound, some extra cars in Danbury heading into the Super 7. Traffic report powered by Optimum Business. Visit optimum.com/business today. Stay ahead of cyber threats with fast and secure fiber internet starting at $65 a month with 99.9% network reliability. Visit optimum.com/business today. I'm Edge Krause with WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Ask Alexa to play WICC.
Playing WICC.
Back to Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on WICC 600 and 95.9.
The voice of Connecticut.
On this Monday, the 7th of July, 2025. Back to open phones momentarily at 203-333-9422. One of the things of note today is a liberal member of the Connecticut Democratic, the Democratic caucus there in the State House, joining the call for Governor Ned Lamont to not seek a third term as Connecticut's chief executive by Nick Gauthier. We'll talk about that as the afternoon goes on, which led me to wonder who can give us his or her look as to where the race stands right now, whether the governor will run or not. And joining us right now is a gentleman I've spoken to numerous times, former multi-term Republican state legislator, state senator from the Southington area, and the 2018 Republican nominee for Lieutenant Governor. Joe Markley's on the phone. Joe, it's Paul. It's been too long. How are you?
I'm great and delighted to be talking to you, Paul, and always happy to talk to you on the air or off the air. Frankly, I enjoy it.
Well, thank you, Joe. Joe, give us your, before we get to the minutiae here, Governor Ned Lamont. You know, Joe, in a blue state, this guy, at least up until now, and who knows who the Republican challenger may be, who knows who, if he may run again, I think Ned Lamont, in his political strategy, has tried to carve out kind of a sweet spot here where, you know, you only upset 50% of the people 50% of the time. You know what I mean? How do you assess him so far?
Well, the word that used to be used for it back in the Bill Clinton days was triangulation.
Yeah.
Which is to say, Clinton looked at it and said, "Hey, I got these conservative Newt Gingrich and the Republicans. I've got people to my left. I can present myself as a moderate." And that's exactly what Lamont has done. And he has been a moderate on a couple of important issues. You know, vetoing this housing bill recently was a move that he knew was going to cause some heat from the left wing of the Democratic Party, which is a big wing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But with the average voter, I think it puts him in a pretty strong position. And the other thing he's got going for him is I think his support is thin. I don't think people have I'll die for Ned Lamont feeling. But I think people like him. I met him in the campaign trail, and I kind of liked him. I thought, he's a nice enough guy. Now, being a nice guy is not doesn't qualify to be governor of Connecticut.
Yeah.
But if you want to run, it's very much an advantage. So here he is with two big problems. He's a popular governor. The state is perceived as doing okay, although really we are hollowed out and in financial crisis, but nobody seems to realize that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got two problems. One is what you talked about, which is the progressives really want somebody who's further left. And he's going to face a challenge, presumably, from somebody out of that group. I think that might be good for him in the long run because the people that run against him, the person that runs against him is likely to come across as such a radical that it'll drive people to Lamont. But it's still a problem. And the other problem is there's been a lot of questionable stuff going on in that administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Lamont himself is likely to be tied to any of it. But it's kind of like Warren Harding or Ulysses Grant. It gives you the feeling the guy in charge is not paying close attention to what those people around him are doing. And that could reach a critical mass and cause him a problem. So despite his popularity, I think that the shine could come off him pretty quick if he has a strong challenge from the left, and then there's a good Republican candidate that goes right after him in the fall.
Yeah, you know what? A month or two or so ago, Joe, I would have thought, a left-wing Democrat, they'll get 15, 20, 25%. Then we saw what happened in New York City, Joe, a few weeks ago, and my son lives in Queens. I used to work in the city 3 or 4 days a week pre-COVID, so I'm pretty much in touch there. The nation, the world is watching. Could a Zoran Mamdani kind of effect, you think, Joe, happen here in Connecticut? Could somebody sneak up on Ned Lamont and beat him in a primary?
I don't think so. I think that it's somewhere between 15% and 50%. There's more hardcore progressives in Connecticut than there used to be.
Yeah.
And there's enough to put together a pretty good campaign, but I don't think it's like New York City. And another problem they've got is that Lamont has the money as a self-funder, that if he sees someone sneaking up on him and he says, gee, I need to spend a couple of million, he can do it. So, I mean, literally he can do it. So that's going to be a problem for him, too. And remember, too, Andrew Cuomo was a very flawed candidate.
Yeah.
There's a world of difference between Ned Lamont and Andrew Cuomo. So I think that he could cause Lamont some trouble. We got to remember that's how Lamont got on the scene.
Yes.
He snuck up and beat Joe Lieberman.
Joe Lieberman, yeah.
Challenging him from the left, basically. So the possibility is there, but it helps to have the cash.
Former Republican State Senate member Joe Markley joining us. Joe, also the 2018 Republican nominee for Lieutenant Governor. Joe, on the Republican side here, interesting. Jen Tooker's in the race. We have Erin Stewart inching close to getting the self-financing money she needs. And our friend here at the radio station, Ryan Fazio, now being mentioned by a lot of the pundits here. I wonder if, Joe, the matchup, let's say for sake of argument here, ended up being Ned Lamont versus either Ryan Fazio or Erin Stewart. It's kind of a generational gap there. Could the Republicans sneak up and win this or not?
Well, you never know. It's a few things. I think a couple of things have to go wrong for Lamont. And I think maybe the biggest one is this question of we'll call it corruption or bad behavior in his administration, if that can become a real story. And the other thing is you need a Republican candidate that is willing to go right after Lamont, to call him out on his record and to say, hey, this guy is not the moderate that he claims to be. He's a liberal. He's a liberal. He spends a lot of money. He may not spend as much as the craziest people in the Democratic Party want him to spend, but he's still spending more than the state can afford. He's giving contracts to union employees that we can't afford to honor. And I think that both Ryan Fazio and Aaron Stewart make an interesting contrast to him. I got to say that I think, although Ryan Fazio is the most recent name to appear, I think he's a very strong candidate in a Republican primary because Aaron Stewart has always presented herself as a moderate, bordering on a liberal Republican, and if you can run to the right, you don't have to run too far to the right. But if you're the candidate who's perceived as being the most conservative in a Republican primary, you're in a very good position. I know that myself because I ran a primary against Aaron Stewart.
Yeah.
And not Jen Tooker, but Jamie Stevenson, a very similar three-way race. And I got almost 50% of the vote against those two women, both of whom were good candidates in different ways. But I'm not. I think Ryan Fazio is a better candidate than I was. Younger, better looking, articulate. I mean, he really has a lot going for him, and I think that he's going to pick up a lot of institutional support in the Republican Party, and he can make a principled argument. He's not a raving ideologue, but he's a man who has some basic beliefs that orient him in a way that I don't think Aaron Stewart has. And I think that Ryan could be I would bet on Ryan in a primary as things stand right now, if that comes down to it. And then I would say Ryan would have a good chance to break through, if anyone could, a fresh face, and yet somebody who has political experience, not like some of the candidates we've run recently in the Republican Party.
Interesting. And finally, Joe, in about the minute we have left, are you at all surprised these statements, these editorials, at the tone of some of the rank and file in the House Democrats? Just their anger is palpable at two of those vetoes that the governor made, which are completely within his purvey to do on the housing bill and on the bill that would have paid people who are on strike. Are you surprised at the vitriol on these or not?
Paul, I am surprised, and I'm surprised that people have stuck their necks out so far, so early on this. And I guess I'd say this is what comes of being so sure of yourself as these progressives are. It's a little scary, but it's the spirit of the French Revolution a little bit, which is if you're not as with us as we think you ought to be, off with your head.
Wow. And we'll leave it at that. Joe Markley. Joe, thanks. On the ramp up to the race, we'll have you on more often. Joe, good to chat with you. Take care, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Thank you. Joe Markley there. Only Joe Markley could end this segment with a reference to the French Revolution.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
95 northbound, at least an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. The Parkway northbound is the way to go. Out of New Haven, 95 north and southbound, busy but moving through Long Wharf, West Haven to Milford. And 84 eastbound, some extra cars in Danbury heading into the Super 7. Traffic report powered by Optimum Business. Visit Optimum.com/business today. Stay ahead of cyber threats with fast and secure fiber internet starting at $65 a month with 99.9% network reliability. Visit Optimum.com/business today. I'm Edge Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below and low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Safety, security, control, just some of the reasons to call Nick and his team at Property Protection Consulting. Hey, it's Melissa, and I use PPC for our doorbell cameras, smart thermostats, and surveillance cameras because they make my home and family feel safe and secure. Plus, everything is easy to operate. It's all on one app, and if something goes wrong, somebody from the team comes out right away. For security systems for your home or business, book a complimentary consultation with locally owned Property Protection Consulting at ppcalarms.com. Tell them Melissa sent you.
We all have the ability to make a difference, to come together, to change a life, to make a wish come true. By supporting Make-A-Wish Connecticut, you are bringing hope and joy to children fighting critical illnesses. Children like me. Visit ct.wish.org to learn how you can become a wishmaker and be part of a journey that changes lives. Just imagine what you can do. Visit ct.wish.org today to learn more. That's ct.wish.org.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the sound of captivity. This is the sound of rescue. And this is the sound of freedom. Give Armenia's captive bears a second chance by supporting International Animal Rescue. Call 508-826-1083 or search The Great Bear Rescue to learn more.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. The death toll has climbed to 95 in the Texas floods, and many are still missing. Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring.
I need to tell my community and those families who are waiting, this will be a rough week.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on whether cuts to the National Weather Service played a part.
To any person who has deliberately lied about these facts surrounding this catastrophic event, you should be deeply ashamed.
President Trump has been sending letters to trading partners warning them of tariffs on August 1st if they don't reach a trade deal with the U.S. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Letters to the leaders of Japan and South Korea telling them that they will face a 25% tariff on imported goods and that the tariff may come down if you start building more of your goods in the United States.
Letters were also sent to Malaysia and South Africa, among others. On Wall Street, that made investors nervous. Stocks are lower, the Dow off 524. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors began their deliberations around 11 this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield Prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 40-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. The massive flooding in Texas has drawn comparisons to Connecticut's own disastrous flood in the Naugatuck Valley last summer.
Flash flooding happens in an instant, as we saw last year in August in Oxford. If you remember that, we had nearly 2 feet of rain in just, a matter of hours.
WICC meteorologist Paul Piorek spoke about what made this area of Texas so susceptible.
It's got a lot of dirt, and it does not absorb the water. What happens is the water runs down the dirt, and it will add up instantly. And again, 26 feet of water in a matter of hours.
Over 80 people died in Texas over the weekend, with dozens more still missing. A man was rescued Sunday after he jumped off a boat in the Housatonic River in Shelton and tried to swim ashore. Evidently, the man began struggling in the water after jumping in and went beneath the surface. A person passing by on another boat jumped in and rescued the man. State Environmental Conservation Police responded to the incident and said the man was treated on the shore, then transported to Griffin Hospital in Derby in stable condition. 3 people were taken to the hospital after a boat crashed into rocks along the Bridgeport shore. Police say the crash happened Saturday night in the area of Monument and Soundview Drive. The 3 people on board suffered injuries described as minor by police. The victims have not been identified. A 17-year-old boy who was pulled unresponsive from a pond in Danbury has died. The unidentified child was reported as a missing swimmer on Friday at a pond near Long Ridge Road. The swimmer was located by first responders and taken to the hospital, but he did not survive. The boy's death remains under investigation. The State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has dispatched a team of Connecticut firefighters to help fight wildfires in Alaska. DEEP's Forestry Division deployed a 20-member team to Alaska Friday. DEEP officials say they did so under a reciprocal aid program operated by the U.S. Forest Service. Free America rallies took place nationwide this weekend, including here in Connecticut. Many of the protests were in opposition to President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which he signed over the holiday weekend. Susan Vogel from the protest group Indivisible Stamford says that the bill in question is anything but beautiful.
We're looking at millions of Americans losing health care if this bill, this big, beautiful bill, which isn't any of those things, it's big, but it's not beautiful, actually becomes law. We're looking at children losing access to food, going hungry.
A new federal highway report says that Connecticut's roads need a lot of work. The recent study was compiled by the Highway Performance Monitoring System and seemed to suggest that Connecticut roads are among the worst in the country. However, Dr. Eric Jackson from the State Transportation Institute told WTNH-TV News 8 that the numbers are slightly misleading.
So the HPMS started in 1978. It's a way for the federal government to basically just track the quality of roads throughout the country. Connecticut, as being a small state, we're able to collect a significant amount of data on all of our state roads.
Connecticut's size means that a larger amount of our road issues are found, reported, and addressed correspondingly. And the town of Stratford has voted to give the mayor a raise. The town council voted 7-3 last week to bring the salary of the mayor up from just over $131,000 to $150,000. The increase will include an annual 2.5% pay raise. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
95 northbound, at least an hour from Greenwich going through Fairfield. The Parkway northbound is the way to go. Out of New Haven, 95 north and southbound, busy but moving through Long Wharf, West Haven, and Milford. And 84 eastbound, some extra cars in Danbury heading into the Super 7. Traffic report powered by Optimum Business. Visit Optimum.com/business today. Stay ahead of cyber threats with fast and secure fiber internet starting at $65 a month with 99.9% network reliability. Visit Optimum.com/business today. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Lost one or more teeth to gum disease, tooth decay, or an injury? Downtown Dental can help with top-notch care to get your healthy and beautiful smile back. And at the lowest price around, guaranteed. Get dental implants for $999 with crowns and dental implants in a day. Get the best quality at the guaranteed lowest price you will only find at Downtown Dental. With offices in Bridgeport, Norwalk, or West Haven, dental implants just $999. Visit downtowndentalct.com.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, celebrating 100 years of Abits.
My grandfather, Frank Pepe, didn't just create Abits. He created a gathering place that our family is still proud to share to this day. My mother and aunt built on his dream. Today, my siblings, cousins, and I are honored to continue the tradition. Pepe's has always been about family, ours and the generations of families who gather at our tables.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, passionate about pizza since 1925. Visit your local Pepe's today.
Walk when they say you can't stand. Laugh when they say you won't speak. When you're recovering from a severe illness or injury, even the smallest tasks can be the greatest mountains to climb. But at Gaylord Specialty Healthcare, we're not just doctors and nurses and therapists. We're experts and specialists and leaders. And we do whatever it takes to make your recovery possible. Gaylord Specialty Healthcare. Think possible.
Now hiring for night nurse positions. Go to gaylord.org/nursing to learn more.
Everything you need to know to stay informed. Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli is back on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
Thank you. 203-333-9422. Hey, thanks once again to Joe Markley, former Republican State Senate member, District 16, primarily Southington, Plainville, and all of that. Referring to this op-ed, boy, I got to tell you, the left wing of the Democratic Party in the state, they are just incensed that Governor Lamont vetoed these two bills, one of which they're going to do a do-over again. I'm sorry. And I know I sound like a broken record on this, but we've never seen this before. If you can read this, and I think they left it out in the open, it's not behind the paywall. You can go to our buddy Tom Dudchick's site, The Capitol Report. There's a commentary here from Nick Gautier, Gauthier. He's a Democratic state rep, I think, from the eastern part of the state. And boy, I got to tell you, they are just rip you know what at Ned Lamont here. And it's the cookie cutter leftist progressive kind of whining here. I mean, listen to, and here's the thing that God bless Ned Lamont, because look, I differ with him on stuff. He doesn't need this. The guy is rich beyond most people's dreams. His wife is rich. So you get the impression he's doing this because he wants the state to be better. And look, whether you're a Democrat or Republican chief executive, city or town manager, first selectman, first select woman, mayor, this and the other, you deserve a little bit of respect here, I think. So it's not so much that the governor's own party is, I don't know, disrespecting him, but it's the tone here. I mean, they sound like petulant children. And again, this is a long op-ed by op-ed standards. I just want to read you a couple of segments of this. We'll do that when we get back. But again, the thing that just hits me in the face, that smacks me in the face about all this, is I perceive it as a push to get Ned Lamont not to run again. And that's not good. That tells you how much of a leftward lurch the Connecticut State Democratic Party is itching to take. If Ned Lamont chooses not to run, and I hope he runs again, because that means either he wins or a new Republican wins. But if you care about this state and you care about the level of taxation and you care about not having Hartford and the long-standing Democratic majority Bigfoot stuff for your city and town and say, you will do it this way. If those issues matter, you had better pray that Ned Lamont runs again. We'll give you some excerpts of this op-ed by Mr. Gautier coming up right here on Connecticut Today.
Discover the finest flooring in Southern Connecticut at Courtesy Carpet. With over 50 years experience, we've got your flooring needs covered. From intricate area rugs, durable vinyl and laminate to elegant stair runners. Shop anywhere, but make sure to see us before you buy. Visit courtesycarpet.com to explore our extensive selection. Visit Ellen, Jay, and the team at Courtesy Carpet, Route 111 in Monroe. Trust us, the experts in quality flooring. Because at Courtesy Carpet, your satisfaction is our courtesy.
We know we're supposed to be getting ready for retirement, but it's so complicated we're just not sure how. And that's exactly why David Gagnon of First Financial Planners is on the radio.
It comes down to education. Knowledge is power. And the one percenters, the very wealthy out there, are in that category because they did things differently.
Every week, David cuts through another layer of that confusion, making retirement planning something we can all understand. Tune in for Mastering Your Wealth, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on WICC 600. Find out more at masteringyourwealthradio.com.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
It's time for the Market Scoreboard Report with Ron and Sana. Now on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
After another record-setting day on Wall Street yesterday, there is a stock index futures trading session this morning, even though it's a holiday for financial markets, banks, and federal offices, and stocks are trading lower in this abbreviated session after President Trump said he could impose tariffs as high as 70% on countries that don't meet the deadline of July 9th to have a trade deal done with the United States. Now, the president today also will be signing the bill that was passed through the House yesterday that will maintain tax levels where they are, also cut spending in things like Medicaid and food stamps, and add some additional tax benefits going forward, both to business and to individuals. So when we come back to work on Monday after this long holiday, the trade talks will be top of mind, as will the Federal Reserve, who after yesterday's stronger than expected jobs numbers may not be inclined to cut interest rates in July, as some had surmised only a day earlier. So a very abbreviated session today. Back to work on Monday. Enjoy the 3-day weekend.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer Grocery.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 southbound in Milford, accident reported between exit 40 and exit 39, has things backing up past exit 41. On 95 northbound, plan on over an hour from Greenwich through Fairfield. The Parkway is a bit easier. Route 1 in Stamford, accident reported southbound approaching Portland Ave. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Phones are busy? Text Paul, 203-333-9422. You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli. Now on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And just for a correction here, folks, there was a problem with our recording system here. So the financial report you heard there was not from today. We're going to remedy that situation. In case you heard numbers, let me give you the accurate numbers here. All three of the major indices were down just under 1%. The Dow finishing at 44,406.36. The S&P 500 at 6,229.98. And the NASDAQ at 2412.52. So there you go. Correction there. Okay, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Nick Gautier, state rep from the eastern part of the state, another one of the far liberal state reps that is ready to pounce. You have to understand something, folks. If Ned Lamont loses to another Democrat, that is bad, 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 bad news for the state. If Ned Lamont were to lose to a Republican, I'm okay with that. Give the GOP back the governor's mansion. But listen, even as our friend Joe Markley said a little while ago this hour, and Joe's been around for a while, he can interpret these things as good as anyone else. You do not want a progressive Democrat to become governor of this state. You will see taxes go up like you haven't seen in 10 or 15 years. You will see the Democratic majority in Hartford tax flatulence. They will institute a fart tax. I'm sure they will. They will tax your belching. I know I'm being serious, but I'm trying to cut to the chase here. So you see people like Mr. Gautier here, Saud Anwar, Bob Duff, the usual suspects, Matt Ritter, everybody else, Martin Looney from the New Haven area, Josh Shapiro from, Josh Shapiro, the state rep from Hamden there, chomping at the bit here to defeat Ned Lamont. But Mr. Gautier, writing here in part, quote, as the governor of our state and the de facto head of our Connecticut Democratic Party, Lamont has a responsibility to stand with our workers and our working families, both in deed and in law. Instead, Lamont chose to veto pro-worker legislation put on his desk by a consensus of over 85% of his own Democratic Party lawmakers. Folks, again, we hear this every week now, every couple of days. The left wing of the governor's party is incensed that he vetoed that bill to pay strikers unemployment compensation. They continue, even though the governor's got a pretty solid approval rating in the state. There is a disconnect between what the people think of Governor Ned Lamont and what his own caucus does. And they continue to hammer this guy because how dare a Democratic governor of the state, the titular head of the Democratic Party in Connecticut, how dare, where does he get the balls, these people wonder, to tell the Democratic power brokers in Hartford, hey, this is a bridge too far for me, which he said. He pretty much said all the pro-worker things that his administration has done, but he said, no, paying people who voluntarily go on strike, I'm not going to do that. And then the tantrum ensued. And there's Julie Kushner, Josh Elliott, Martin Looney, Bob Duff. The kindergarten-like tantrum continues here, which just shows you how much Ned Lamont has been okay for the state. He's not perfect on everything. I disagree with him on a lot, but right now Ned Lamont is the plug in the tire, and if that tire blows out, good Lord. Gautier writes here further, when historic pro-housing legislation is finally passed by the General Assembly, in close consultation with the governor's office, it's the governor's job to communicate effectively with the public and with our municipal leaders what is actually in the bill rather than stand aside as false narratives are crafted and then capitulate to those factions by vetoing the legislation without defense or explanation. Oh, God, what a tantrum. I love it. This gets better and better every day. And then here's the bad. Ooh, when the federal government sends masked agents to our state to assault and steal away our residents, It's our governor's job to respond to fighting to strengthen state law, not to cower to intimidation by threatening the use of his veto power to water down expansions of legal protections. Yeah, because he's the governor. How dare Ned Lamont say, you know what, we got to keep a balance here. How dare Ned Lamont say, I'm not going to rubber stamp this, that, and the other because the usual Democratic fat cats that have been in Hartford for 40 years want me to. Lamont's behavior begs the question, if he, as governor, is aggrieved by legislation sent to his desk by members of the General Assembly, then why does he not provide his own set of policy priorities that he would be comfortable signing? His choice to return policy discussions back to square one shows a failure to serve as an effective leader. Folks, what did I tell you about this? The Democratic caucus in Hartford, the last thing they want is a special session. Trust me on this. Because the spotlight will be on the housing bill. That's the last thing they want. They can't hide behind the budget bill. They can't hide behind the striker bill. They can't hide behind an electric bill. And for the 4, 5, 6 days, however long that special session goes, people of both parties in this state will sit there and they're going to be asking, hey, what's up with the housing bill? What'd they do today? What'd they do on that today? And then we're finally going to find out how open or transparent this really is. Or is this going to be done again behind closed doors? And then in the end, they're going to say, well, Governor, here, sign it or veto it. See, this is the last thing that the majority in Hartford wants. The very last thing is an open process here. And they can be upset with the governor. I get it. I understand it. Well, he said he would sign it. Well, guess what? You're SOL. He didn't sign it. Go fix it. Stop with the tantrums. Stop acting like you're in nursery school. Captain Kangaroo ain't coming on TV soon. Go fix it. 203-333-9422, 333 WICC. The left-wing crack-up over Lamont gets better and better and better.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 southbound in Milford, accident reported between exit 40 and exit 39, has things backing up past exit 41. On 95 northbound, plan on over an hour from Greenwich through Fairfield. The Parkway is a bit easier. Route 1 at Stamford, accident reported southbound approaching Portland Ave. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Hey, it's Melissa Sheketoff, and I had no idea that I had a couple of very unhealthy trees directly in front of my home that could cause a lot of damage. That is, if the wind blows just the right way. Thankfully, Mark from K&J Tree Service came out to our home to do a free assessment earlier this year. He pointed out that I had mushroom growth at the base of one of those trees and that leaves weren't growing the way that they should near the top of the tree. And those were apparently very clear signs that the tree was struggling and needed to be looked at before disaster could strike. Summer is the season of storms and wild weather, and you should be calling K&J Tree Service for a free tree risk assessment. There's no obligation to have work done, and K&J will advise you on next steps, maybe even a treatment plan to save the trees on your property. Go to kjtreeservice.com, book a free assessment today. That's kjtreeservice.com. You can also text them for a free assessment at 203-248-TREE.
Back to the news and talk, thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC's 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
And right you are, 203-333-9422, 333 WICC. Coming up about 15, 20 minutes, our friend, our buddy, our commuter advocate Jim Cameron talking about, I guess, another fare increase. What, 10% here for Metro North? Okay. What are we getting for that? And I say we, I'm riding it less, but, prior to COVID, I was on the New Haven line 2 or 3 days or nights a week. Yes, I could close my eyes and by the rumbles and the rails, figure out where we were. So one of the big things I always ask about and grumble about is and look, I don't mean to throw the fine people who run these trains under the bus or any other vehicle, the overall lack of safety on a lot of Metro North trains. You think with the fees that are paid by a full train, which if you multiply it, it's a lot of money, can't there be one cop on a train each way, every train on Metro North, especially in the day and age today? How is there zero security on those trains? And again, this is not besmirching the conductors on the trains. They're not security guys and gals. They run the train along with the motorman and the other people on the train, but they're not there to make sure that you're safe. Yes, they have some safety responsibilities. I get that. So what will we be getting for these Metro North fare increases? Jim will have that and other stuff for us as we come back on the other side. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The death toll in Texas from the floods is now at 95. 27 of the victims were from a girls' camp. Senator Ted Cruz.
The children, the little girls who were lost at Camp Mystic. That's every parent's nightmare.
Correspondent Jason Allen.
In some places, there is nothing left. You can't even tell what was there before this flood came through. And this is a part of the country that people here know as a flash flood alley. There's a combination of extreme rain events, very thin soil. So officials here over the last 3 days say they have rescued more than 850 people, some of them from the tops of trees and others from rooftops.
There have been questions about whether there was sufficient warning and whether National Weather Service cuts added to the tragedy. Stacey Lynn has White House reaction.
While some say the Trump administration's cuts to the National Weather Service may have played a part.
Despite unprecedented rainfall, the National Weather Service executed timely and precise forecasts and warnings.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back on the allegations.
Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved lie.
She said the Weather Service did its job.
So to any person who has deliberately lied about these facts surrounding this catastrophic event, you should be deeply ashamed.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
A tropical storm swept through the Carolinas this weekend, dumping heavy rains and causing flooding.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
At least one death is blamed on the storm. 2 other people are missing. President Trump sent letters to U.S. trading partners today advising them that a deadline is approaching to reach an agreement and avoid higher tariffs. In the case of Japan and South Korea, 25% tariffs. CBS's Natalie Brand.
Notably, those higher rates would not take effect until August 1st. So it seems as though there's a few more weeks of negotiations here, but the administration trying to keep pressure on the top trading partners that it hopes to achieve deals with.
At the White House this evening, President Trump will meet with Israel's Prime Minister, and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the latest Gaza ceasefire proposal will be discussed.
An agreeable and appropriate ceasefire proposal has been sent to Hamas, and I can also tell you Special Envoy Witkoff intends to travel to Doha later this week, where he will continue to engage in these discussions.
Trump has been pushing for a ceasefire, which could lead to an end to the war. On Wall Street today, investors were nervous about the new threatened tariffs against Asian nations. The Dow Jones Industrials finished the day 422 points lower. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
WICC 695.9. Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors began their deliberations around 11 this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield Prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 40-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. And the massive flooding in Texas has drawn comparisons to Connecticut's own disastrous flood in the Naugatuck Valley last summer.
Flash flooding happens in an instant, as we saw last year in August in Oxford. If you remember that, we had nearly 2 feet of rain in just, a matter of hours.
WICC meteorologist Paul Piorek spoke about what made this area of Texas so susceptible.
It's got a lot of dirt, and it does not absorb the water. What happens is the water runs down the dirt, and it will add up instantly. And again, 26 feet of water in a matter of hours.
Over 80 people died in Texas over the weekend, with dozens more still missing. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. The lower Merritt is definitely your best bet. New Haven, 95 southbound, jamming through Long Wharf and into West Haven, and you're back on the brakes again, exit 41, going down to the Milford Connector, all stemming from an earlier problem that has been cleared. Wilbur Cross on the southbound side, a stalled vehicle reported just past exit 59. And that has things backing up through the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Brown Roofing. Brown Roofing is Fairfield County's premier roofing replacement, repair, and gutter contractor. Contact Brown Roofing today at brownroofing600.com. Brown won't let you down. And that's Krause WICC traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
3 hours down, 1 to go. Your calls, we'll get back to them momentarily at 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Also, we'll chat with Jim Cameron about the Metro North fare increases that we learned about a couple of days ago. I want to thank a couple of people who have texted me today and written in. And a texter and an emailer sent me the same article, and I was not aware of this in our discussion of whether or not the nation, the world, or our wonderful state of Connecticut could use a third party. And thank you. Yes, there's an article here from Vanity Fair, which is a progressive-leaning publication. Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch, He worked in the first Trump White House, those years ago. And Mark Cuban, a guy who's always kind of fascinated me. I guess they're pushing Elon Musk to start this America Party. I did not hear that until my knowledgeable listeners told me that. So there you go. And that dovetails nicely. You see how they taught me that in disc jockey school? Into our question of the day, facebook.com/voice of CT. And we've talked about this for years and years and years, and it never comes to fruition, which I think is a bad thing. Does the U.S. need a viable, emphasis on the word viable? There are lots of parties out there, but they're not really viable on a national basis. Could the U.S. and maybe Connecticut, although there is a registered independent party in the state, and the Working Families Party and others, but do we need a viable third party in the U.S.? Elon Musk says he's putting together his America Party. Now, a lot of people laugh at that, but if you have Musk, and especially Mark Cuban, so you got a couple of billionaires behind this thing, I don't know. It might be a good idea, maybe a cataclysmic one, I don't know. But my question is this. For everybody poo-pooing this, where is, for example, a Republican to go who maybe is strong on guns and the border, but is not agreeing with cutting social service safety nets or, wants stronger abortion laws? And on the flip side, where's a Democrat to go who is, very, very, very pro-choice, very liberal on the border and on immigration and migration, but wants, more freedom with gun laws? You see what I'm saying? Is this a kind of party that could serve the overlap? I forget what they call those diagrams when you draw circles and you find out the intersecting and overlapping parts here. Maybe the so-called America Party is for that. I don't know. But the polarization we have here in this country is not a good thing, and I say it's getting worse. Let's talk about transportation and, in particular, the Metro-North Railroad when we return right here.
There's something lurking in Long Island Sound. It's waiting for you. It's $25,000. The WICC Surfside Hotel Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth returns August 23rd and 24th. Catch the heaviest bluefish that weekend and win $25,000. Plus, there's over $40,000 in cash prizes. Sign up now at bluefishtournament.com. The WICC Surfside Hotel Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth. We'll see you on the Sound.
Thanks, Tri-City Home Solutions and Rinnai and Xfinity.
Hey, Joe, what happened to your teeth? They look amazing.
Oh, years of root canals, crowns, gum treatments. I got tired of it all. So I went to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They removed my bad teeth and gave me permanent new ones. Same day.
Wait, you walked out with new teeth?
Yep, it's called All for One. They place 4 implants and attach a full set of connected teeth. It's not 4 teeth, it's a full smile. I feel like a new man.
Call Columbia Implant Center at 860-730-6020. All for One. One day, one life-changing smile.
Never met a dent we couldn't smooth out. At Sono Collision, we turn your oopsie-daisy into amazing with our top-notch repair. No more crying over crumpled fenders. We'll erase your car's memory of that pesky light pole. Cruise over to Sono Collision today, where even your car forgets its accidents. Visit us at sonocollision.com, because a good car deserves a great recovery.
You're listening to WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut, broadcasting from Cadillac of Greenwich Studios, CadillacofGreenwich.com.
Are you looking for a loyal friend, a cuddle buddy, or just some unconditional love? Hey, it's Melissa Sheketoff, and the perfect companion is waiting for you at the Connecticut Humane Society. From playful pups to cuddly cats, these furry friends are ready for their forever home, and that home could be yours. By adopting, you're giving an animal a second chance and gaining a best friend for life. Visit cthumane.org to adopt and volunteer or to donate to help care for pets still waiting. Adopt, love, support hope. Choose the Connecticut Humane Society.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work. Know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Do you have questions about real estate? Learn the secrets of real estate investing and get your questions answered during the Real Estate Show with Pat Civitella. Listen Sunday mornings from 9 to 10 for expert information about real estate investing, downsizing, and improvements before selling. Pat will help turn your real estate dreams into reality. Tune in and call The Real Estate Show with Pat Civitella. Sunday mornings from 9 to 10, right here on WICC 600 and 95.9.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. The lower Merritt is definitely your best bet. New Haven, 95 southbound, jamming through Long Wharf and into West Haven, and you're back on the brakes again, exit 41, going down to the Milford Connector, all stemming from an earlier problem that has been cleared. Wilbur Cross on the southbound side, a stalled vehicle reported just past exit 59, and that has things backing up through the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Brown Roofing. Brown Roofing is Fairfield County's premier roofing replacement, repair, and gutter contractor. Contact Brown Roofing today at brownroofing600.com. Brown won't let you down. And that's Krause's WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Saying everything that's on his mind. Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli. WICC 695.9. The voice of Connecticut.
Stay back to open phones later on in the hour at 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. If you, like me, occasionally or maybe at one time on an everyday basis, I used to do it, ride the Metro North commuter rail line, it's likely going to cost you a little bit more. Joining us right now, well-known commuter advocate. His column Talking Transportation can be found in many outlets, including the Connecticut Mirror. Jim Cameron drops by. Mr. Cameron, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Dr. Piselli, how are you? I'm fine, thanks.
I'm good, Jim. Thank you. Fares, Metro North. What's the latest for people wanting to know, Jim?
Well, I have this recurring sense of deja vu all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, another fare increase is coming our way. 5% fare increase September 1st, and another 5% increase July 1st of next year. Let's see, 5 and 5. That's a 10% fare increase in the next 12 months. And I've been at this commuter advocacy thing for over 20 years, and I have been to my share of fare hearings, which must be held.
Yeah.
And the cynic in me just goes, fair hearings are just political theater. It's all baked into the budget. This was all required by the fact that the legislature came up a little bit shy. They only allocated, $316 million for operation of the DOT, and they needed $327. So the only way to help fill that gap was a fare increase. And if that's, the decision that was made by the legislature, why go through the process of claiming that you care about what the public says? There were hearings, there were research papers done, there was all kinds of work done by the DOT for what's really a moot point. The fares are going up.
And, Jim, as far as you know, that's for everything, right? Just single tickets, round trip, the multi-day passes. Is this 5% and 5 across the board as far as we know it, or are there any discounts or not?
Anything that starts in Connecticut is going to go up or ends in Connecticut. So here's an example. If you wanted to go from New Haven to Grand Central, that'll go from $24.50 one way to $26 with the first hike, and then to $27.25. So it's getting more expensive. Your listeners in cars right now are nodding their heads and going, you're just giving me another reason to not take the train.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be happy with the traffic crawling up I-95, but at least I'm not paying through the nose with the 10% fare increase. And, they're right. The more you raise these fares, P.S., they've told me there's not going to be any increase or improvement in service. It's going to be the same old, same old. So we're getting whacked 10%. I don't think inflation is running at 10% a year.
No.
But when it comes to fares on Metro North, they certainly are. So, it's getting expensive.
Yeah, and one of my pet peeves, Jim, and I've said this for years and years and years, exactly, give me something for those fare increases. And I know stuff that you've written and other people, well, it's to cover operating expenses. But Jim, I don't know how you felt, but there have been many an early morning or late night. I've ridden the New Haven line end to end, New Haven Union Station, all the way to Grand Central Terminal in New York to see my son or go to work in the city. And I'm saying to myself, they can't block out money for an MTA cop, even on the rush hour trains. Jim, I got to tell you, and I know it's expensive, and I know police officers get paid. I get this, but the lack of operational security on these trains, no offense to anybody running the train, drives me crazy. It does.
Well, that's a whole other issue. I got a contact from a commuter. One of the things I love about my work is I hear regularly from commuters when they're frustrated and they have nowhere else to turn. I'm here for you. I'm here for you guys.
Okay.
Somebody told me they were on a 6:30 a.m. train from New Haven, going to their work in New York City. They got on the car and it smelled of reefer.
Oh.
Now, it's bad enough that somebody was smoking on the train, but smoking marijuana at 6:30 in the morning.
Well.
And I don't think it was lingering from the night before either, but somebody was on that train bright and early trying to get a good buzz on the way to work.
Yeah, and Jim, you know what? You can't blame the conductors, and you can't blame the motormen and motorwomen. Security is not their job, and it just over the years, and you see an occasional cop when Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, obviously, sometimes on Thanksgiving, or maybe a heavy train into and out of the city on a weekend for sightseeing. But, you would think over the years, and maybe this has been asked about, Jim, I don't know, where we could have a little better security on the trains. But, hey, maybe I'm just pie in the sky. I don't know. I don't get it.
You're pie in the sky, Paul. We don't have enough cops. The MTA police, which is responsible for monitoring safety on the trains, has only a handful of officers that serve up in Connecticut. Most of them are down in Westchester, where they have much more responsibility in operations. So if the conductor is not to blame for the misbehavior of passengers. But if they want to, the best they can do is to stop the train at a station, call local cops, delay hundreds and hundreds of commuters because one bozo doesn't want to pay his ticket, or he won't put out his spliff, or whatever he's doing that's wrong. That's the only thing that can be done in that case. Now, that said, I feel safe riding the train.
Yeah.
I don't think they are unsafe. 2 negatives in a row. That's not good. I feel safe, but I agree. If there's a concern that passengers have, if there's a perception of a lack of safety, then there's a lack of safety. And you're not going to get people to take the train if they're unsure of their safety on the train. That's just another reason. They're going to raise the fares. I don't feel safe on the trains. I hear the stuff that goes on the trains.
Yeah.
I heard the guy on the radio talking about people smoking marijuana on the trains at 6:30. I'll stay in my car. I'll put up with the traffic. At least I get to listen to the radio.
That's
loud.
Right. That's right. Loud at ear-splitting levels. Jim Cameron talking transportation. Jim, thank you, my friend. Be good, and we'll chat down the road. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Be well.
I appreciate it. Jim Cameron there, following the transportation issues for some 20 years now. How about that? 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Yeah, I mean, come on, folks. And let's talk about this like adults. How many times have we been on the train? And I used to ride Metro North a lot. I ride it much less frequently now. I do it maybe half the time when I want to go in and meet my son and his girlfriend in the city. If they say, hey, let's meet in Midtown, I'll take the train. Pop up out of Grand Central, make sure I haven't been shanked or stabbed or hit by somebody in the head. Oh, there you are. If I go to his home in Queens, I'll drive in. But having said that, how many times, think about this, have you been on Metro North, if you're a Metro North rider, and, you look around and you say, okay, the train is busy. Everybody seems to be nice, having a good time. But I just say to myself, what if somebody pulls a gun here? And I know that a cop might not initially be able to stop the initial carnage. But my God, for 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks, maybe round trip on that train, you tell me that there should not be at least one MTA police officer on that train? So what? A Metro North rider gets no security? None? Really? And yet they ask, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, like Jim said, is going to be charging you and me another 10% by July of next year. And like Jim said, you heard it from a guy who's been covering this for 20 years. Those hearings they hold on these fare increases are all a farce. They are a farce. It's built into the DOT budget. So it's like, screw what you think and screw your idea of wanting safety. It's sad. But again, when a person, when a product, when a company, when a utility has no effective competition, they do what they want. Dave in Meriden here. Dave, how are you, sir?
Good, Paul. Hey, I take the train once in a while to go to a ball game with my son and friend, and I feel safe on the train. But, I remember the last time we went down, the trip back from Yankee Stadium all the way to Bridgeport, there was this 5-year-old kid with his parents out of control, screaming. And the whole time. I mean, this kid needed a good dose of Mr. Spanky. But I was about to give it to him.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that. So what was the deal? Was he just tired? Was he hungry? Do you have any
I don't know if he had, issues like autism or whatever, but he was just out of control, and the parents were, okay, time out.
Time out,
Be quiet. Stuff a sock in his mouth.
Oh, that's, I don't think.
It was terrible.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Thanks. Traffic and weather together right here on WICC.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, solid hour, Stanford through Fairfield. The lower Merritt is definitely your best bet. New Haven, 95 southbound, jamming through Long Wharf and into West Haven, and you're back on the brakes again, exit 41, going down to the Milford Connector, all stemming from an earlier problem that has been cleared. Wilbur Cross on the southbound side, a stalled vehicle reported just past exit 59, and that has things backing up through the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic report is powered by Brown Roofing. Brown Roofing is Fairfield County's premier roofing replacement, repair, and gutter contractor. Contact Brown Roofing today at brownroofing600.com. Brown won't let you down. And that's Krause with WICC Traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below and low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
This is the Concert Guide, powered by Duchess Restaurants. Fresh food served fast. Friday, July 11th, Darrell Hall is at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Sunday, July 13th, the Lumineers at Mohegan Sun. Also on Sunday, July 13th, Michael Franti and Spearhead at Levitt Pavilion. Friday, July 18th, Blues Traveler, Gin Blossoms, and the Spin Doctors at Toyota Oakdale Theater. Friday, July 25th, it's Rod Stewart, and Saturday, July 26th, Big Time Rush, both at Mohegan Sun. Wednesday, July 30th, Toto, Christopher Cross, and Men at Work at Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater. Saturday, August 2nd, it's Nelly at Xfinity Theater in Hartford. Friday, August 8th, Google Dolls and Dashboard Confessional at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater. Also August 8th, Aloe Black plays Richfield Playhouse. Saturday, August 9th, Hanson is on the Mohegan Sun patio. The Concert Guide. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, get fresh food served fast at any one of 12 Duchess restaurants located throughout Connecticut. Duchess Restaurants. Fresh food served fast.
Investing in the stock market certainly has its ups and downs. Perhaps it's time to redeploy some of your investment assets. One asset class you may not be aware of is mass tort legal cases. For example, we're talking about Roundup and mesothelioma, where smart money has been investing in mass torts for a few decades with continued profits. We are Paragon Analytics AI. We use advanced data mining and AI techniques to find valid mass tort legal cases. We're looking for accredited investors to invest as little as $25,000 with a guaranteed fixed return to our investors. Call 888-WITH-PARAGON today to find out more. There's no cost, no obligation. If you can invest $25,000 or more, join the smart money and get with Paragon at 888-WITH-PARAGON. That's 888-WITH-PARAGON. Again, 888-948-4727.
Investment involves risk. Consult with your financial professional before investing.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. The death toll in the Texas floods is now 95 and likely to grow. Reporter Karen Waugh.
You see so many damaged homes, downed fences, even these boats and cars still stuck high up in trees.
President Trump may visit the area this week. Trump sent letters to trading partners like Japan and South Korea today advising them that as of August 1st, new tariffs will go into place if they don't strike a trade deal. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
He is literally looking at the map and looking at every country on the planet and seeing where they are ripping off the American people.
The Trump administration's making another move to end the temporary protected status of immigrants, this time from Nicaragua and Honduras. CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez.
This is part of a broader and larger effort by the Trump administration to make as many immigrants in the U.S. deportable.
Stocks finished lower amid trade worries. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
A Milford Superior Court jury has begun deliberating the fate of Raoul Valley. The jurors began their deliberations around 11 this morning. Valley is accused of stabbing Fairfield Prep student James McGrath to death in Shelton in 2022 and of wounding 3 other teens. Valley was 16 years old at the time of the incident outside a house party, and he testified during the trial that he wildly swung a knife while being attacked.
You would agree, in hindsight, that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
I don't know who got stabbed or where they got stabbed.
As you sit here today, you would agree that you stabbed 4 kids, correct?
Yes.
If convicted of the 4 charges, Valley could face a sentence of up to 105 years in prison. He previously rejected a 40-year plea deal, opting instead to take the case to trial. 3 people were taken to the hospital after a boat crashed into rocks along the Bridgeport shore. Police say the crash happened Saturday night in the area of Monument and Soundview Drive. The 3 people on board suffered injuries described as minor by police. The victims have not been identified. A man was rescued Sunday after he jumped off a boat in the Housatonic River in Shelton and tried to swim ashore. Evidently, the man began struggling in the water after jumping in and went beneath the surface. A person passing by on another boat jumped in and rescued the man. State Environmental Conservation Police responded to the incident and said the man was treated on the shore, then transported to Griffin Hospital in Derby in stable condition. A 17-year-old boy who was pulled unresponsive from a pond in Danbury has died. The unidentified child was reported as a missing swimmer on Friday at a pond near Long Ridge Road. The swimmer was located by first responders and taken to the hospital, but he did not survive. The boy's death remains under investigation. A man has been charged with drunk driving after his car went into a pond in downtown Milford. The vehicle apparently was involved in a hit-and-run crash on Shipyard Lane moments before splashing into the pond behind the Stonebridge restaurant early yesterday morning. A police officer who was nearby saw the crash and jumped into the water and was able to rescue the man from the car. Leading up to the holiday weekend, state police had urged Connecticut drivers to drive responsibly.
Especially 4th of July, we're expected to see more traffic, more gatherings, and with that, obviously, that can oftentimes result in more accidents and seeing more drunk drivers or even wrong-way drivers on the road.
The unidentified man is charged with DUI and evading responsibility. State police have released traffic statistics for the holiday weekend. 330 crashes were reported from this past Thursday through Sunday, 3 of which were fatal. These numbers are almost identical to 2024, where state police reported 332 crashes with only 1 fatality. 29 DUI arrests were also made during that same period. State Trooper Ramonda Zuta said that the 4th of July is one of the most dangerous times of the year for Connecticut roadways.
4th of July, a lot of people are obviously going to get together with their friends. There's going to be drinks included or going out somewhere. So oftentimes we'll get calls for erratic operation, and which would lead to most oftentimes DUI arrests.
Free America rallies took place nationwide this weekend, including here in Connecticut. Many of the protests were in opposition to President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which he signed over the holiday weekend. Susan Vogel from the protest group Indivisible Stamford says that the bill in question is anything but beautiful.
We're looking at millions of Americans losing health care if this bill, this big, beautiful bill, which isn't any of those things, it's big, but it's not beautiful, actually becomes law. We're looking at children losing access to food, going hungry.
A new federal highway report says that Connecticut's roads need a lot of work. The recent study was compiled by the Highway Performance Monitoring System and seemed to suggest that Connecticut roads are among the worst in the country. However, Dr. Eric Jackson from the State Transportation Institute told WTNH-TV News 8 that the numbers are slightly misleading.
So the HPMS started in 1978. It's a way for the federal government to basically just track the quality of roads throughout the country. Connecticut, is being a small state, we're able to collect a significant amount of data on all of our state roads.
Connecticut's size means that a larger amount of our road issues are found, reported, and addressed correspondingly. The State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has dispatched a team of Connecticut firefighters to help fight wildfires in Alaska. DEEP's Forestry Division deployed a 20-member team to Alaska Friday. DEEP officials say they did so under a reciprocal aid program operated by the U.S. Forest Service. And the town of Stratford has voted to give the mayor a raise. The town council voted 7-3 last week to bring the salary of the mayor up from just over $131,000 to $150,000. The increase will include an annual 2.5% pay raise. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 southbound Milford accident reported near exit 40 has things backing up through West Haven into Longmore as well. Lower Fairfield County 95 north, solid hour. Greenwich through Fairfield. The Parkway is easier. Route 8 northbound bunched up through Shelton, going up to the bridge, and on the Wilbur Cross southbound, congestion delays through Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. And that's Krause with WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
If Fairfield is talking about it, so is Paul. Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Yeah, great to have you with us. Some open phones for about the next 22 minutes. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Well, it is here. The speed cameras are up and working in the city of Middletown. So again, if you're one of these people that's wholly against speed cameras and stoplight cameras, I have an idea. Slow down, find out where your brake pedal is, and be careful through Middletown, because you know what? This is not stopping, because people won't stop. Last week, I think it was. Last week or the week before. A lot of you know I live in Wallingford. I'm coming out of the Stop and Shop Plaza, the upper part of Route 5. And I have now taught myself to, even if I get the green light, taking a left to go head south on Route 5, I wait. Because 3 or 4 times last week or the week before, if I had not waited, I would have got T-boned at least 3 or 4 times from morons, or shall I say jackasses, gavones, toot the stoonads, just blowing right through the red light, which I can clearly see is red from the other side. Yes, put cameras up for those fools. I'm sorry, I've had enough. And I'm reading stuff online here this morning, the local papers and their comment section. Well, I guess the surveillance state is here. Well, guess what? The surveillance state is necessary sometimes when those being surveilled are morons and jackasses. I'm sorry. Your freedom as an American doesn't allow you to just blow red lights. It doesn't. I'm sorry. 3 or 4 times I would have gotten T-bone, because sometimes you're not really paying attention, so you see you have the green light, and you just go and, whoa, look at that guy. And you know where it's happening, too, I've noticed? The Post Road in Milford. The entrance to the Connecticut Post Mall. How many times you get the green light to go north or south on Route 1, and you're jamming on the brakes because some moron couldn't stop? Well, guess what? It's time to ticket those people. Well, what if the owner of the car is not driving, Paul? It's somebody else. You know what? I don't care. I don't get up in the morning worried about that. I don't. Maybe you should sit down with whomever, I forgot the English there, and explain to them, maybe it's your husband, your wife, your domestic partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog, your cat, your gerbil, your kids, your grandkids. Hey, let me explain to you what's going on here, so you have to stop. And I know people say, well, slamming on the brakes, that's going to cause... Well, maybe it will until people get used to it or decide to drive somewhere else, some other route. And as far as the speeding is concerned, they're giving you 10 miles an hour. I believe that's in the law as it was written in Hartford. So they're going to give you 10 miles an hour, which means if you have a zone that's 35 or 40, you don't get ticketed until you're doing 45 or 50. See, it's basic math. You add 2 numbers together, that's the speed limit. But I'm done. Says right here, NBC Connecticut, driving down Washington Street in Middletown, the sign reads, speed limit photo enforced. So they're telling you where the cameras are. Because, see, there's an assumption here that if they tell you where the cameras are, you may go, oh, yeah, the brake pedal. Let me slow this down here. The city's first speed camera system is by George Street in Middletown, where a recent study found that 75% of vehicles went 10 miles an hour or more above the speed limit. There you go. You wonder why the speed cameras are coming. You wonder why the stoplight cameras are coming. I don't know. I may get pinched with a ticket once or twice. I got to tell you, though, I'm going to remember where they are. And you know what? I'll slow down. For the first 30 days, drivers will get a warning if they violate the speed limit. Well, how do they know? Because they'll take a picture of your plate. Well, isn't that illegal? No, it's not. You have no recognized right to privacy once you go outside. You just don't. Tickets will then be, after you're warned once, tickets will then be $50 for the first violation and $75 for each violation thereafter. Once a camera catches a driver, police review the footage. One woman from Rocky Hill says if it's used for speeding and keeps public safety, that's fine. If it's used for other things, not so good. This person said our society is set up to be punitive. That doesn't teach. Well, that's good because you do need understand. So I don't want to give a name here, but understand far too often in society, including the guy you're listening to right now, I didn't change my behavior until something punitive was done to me. I tell you all the time, even to this day, I come to a full stop at an intersection in Wallingford about 3/4 of a mile from my condo. Why? Because I got a ticket once there because I rolled through the intersection and didn't stop. At 2:30 in the morning, the cop was hiding. State law requires ticket revenue to go toward public safety initiatives like paying for the cameras. Fine with me. I'm telling you, you folks, Mayor Cervoni, you're listening in Wallingford there, put them all up and down Route 5, and for God's sake, put them all over the Choate campus. I almost got hit 3 times crossing a street because these idiots at I shouldn't be nice. I don't know they go to Choate, but they just roll right through. One of them flipped me the bird. I then told that rather large woman in the seat to place her head. If people do get ticketed, the driver can pay the fine or they can file an appeal. The DOT says the goal is to prevent the driver from speeding again. The city said, and again, this is Middletown, the city says there's a 6 and 18-month reporting process that needs to be sent to the state where they can see if people are slowing down and if the program is working or not. So there you go. Slow down. It's the brake pedal, the one to the left, next to the accelerator, or the one between the accelerator and that funky little thing called thank God I don't have one because I'd be replacing them often, a clutch.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor, is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
Flaming Hot Sevens and Scorching Hot Sevens scratch tickets from the Connecticut Lottery have top prizes of $50,000 and $100,000. With lucky number 7, it may be your chance to get on a hot streak. Play Flaming Hot Sevens and Scorching Hot Sevens today. Overall odds by game: Flaming Hot Sevens 1 in 3.71, Scorching Hot Sevens 1 in 3.59. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling helpline: call 888-789-7777.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
95 southbound Milford accident reported near exit 40. Has things backing up through West Haven into Long Wharf as well. Lower Fairfield County 95 north, solid hour. Greenwich through Fairfield. The Parkway is easier. Route 8 northbound bunched up through Shelton, going up to the bridge, and on the Wilbur Cross southbound, congestion delays through Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC traffic.
An air quality alert through late this evening. A shower or thunderstorm this evening. It will be a mild and muggy night, below in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
He'll tell you what's really going on. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on the voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
All right, 203-333-9422. 333 WICC. And again, if your city or town's going to start the red light cameras or the speed cameras, just find another route home. That's all. Can you tell I'm done with people driving like morons? And another thing I'm done with. Please, I am begging you, with all the love in my soul for my fellow human, if you're getting onto the highway, you're getting onto the turnpike, you're getting onto the Merritt Parkway, you're getting onto Route 8, you're getting onto Route 7, you're getting onto I-91, you're getting onto I-84, I'm begging you, press the accelerator. I'm begging you. When you are merging onto a highway, you have to merge at highway speeds. Please don't kill us because you're afraid to go. I got news for you. The best way to avoid that Mack truck in the right lane that you think is barreling down on you, because it probably is, press the accelerator. What then will happen is by some mechanical and or electronic linkage, magically, a flow of fuel called gasoline or diesel or even electric current will increase to the engine that's providing the horsepower and or the torque to move your vehicle. Therefore, the vehicle will move faster, and you won't get squashed by that 18-wheeler that weighs 20 tons. In back of you, okay? Why are you talking about this, Paul? Because I don't like being that person. In back of the, and you know we've all been there, right? 203-333-9422. 333-WICC. You know we've all been that person. We're merging onto the highway. The highway's jammed. There's a person in front of us, in front of you and I. And we can both see the big box truck or the Mack truck that's in the right lane doing something like, and you like me are screaming, press the accelerator. It'll make the car go faster. If you're going to kill you, there's nothing I can do about it. Don't kill me in the process, all right? I'm begging you. If you don't like trucks, then stay off the highway. What can I tell you? Another one over the weekend. I'm all set to go, and not only did this person not press the accelerator, when the merging lane was open as far as the eye could see, they slowed down. They tapped the brakes. What in the name of sweet Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are you doing? Are you trying to get us killed? I mean, I have a life insurance policy for my kid, but I'm hoping in the next few years I don't have to see it used. A bear and cubs stole food from a home in Granby over the weekend and left before police arrived. State DEP police responding to a report of a black bear with 3 cubs entering a home on Barn Door Hills Road in Granby on Saturday. Folks, it's just a matter of time. You know what's going to happen here. And yet you read this story on social media. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Were they looking for a picnic basket? No, it's not going to be fun when a bear mauls kids or mauls parents to death because for some reason they left the doors unlocked. According to DEEP, the occupants of the home also exited safely and were not injured. Folks, do you understand? This is what's happening when we don't have a bear hunt. When we are one of the few states that doesn't have bear hunts, because we don't listen to the experts. We listen to the whiners at the state capitol. Oh, leave the bears alone. My God. Investigators believe the bears entered through a basement screen door, took some food items, and left the home on their own. During a search, police were not able to find the bears. Do you understand that bears are not supposed to be willing to go into homes frequented and occupied by humans? Again, this is what happens when you don't have a bear hunt. It's not me saying it. It's the experts saying it, the scientists who consult on this, the General Assembly and the governor. This is what happens anthropologically to wild animals if they associate human beings with food. Yes, you people that don't clean your grills, don't do what you're supposed to do properly with your garbage, and insist, despite the fact that the scientists tell you not to, yes, I'm going to say it again, insist on putting out bird feeders. The birds don't need bird feeders, okay? They're not your toys. The birds don't need bird feeders. The birds can find stuff. They can find worms. They can find seeds. They can find edible grass. They can find suet, whatever they need. They can find. You know, I'm sitting here laughing. It's going to be tragic. It's just a matter of time. And then what's going to happen? Can you imagine if God forbid this would have ended tragically in Granby? Well, you can't even think about it. What we'd be talking about today, or what the governor would be ordering, you know, on a special session along with the housing bill, if those bears just didn't take the food and leave. So again, we have a choice, and like I said, I'm not a hunter. I don't hunt for food. I don't hunt for trophy. I've never hunted a day in my life, and probably will never hunt. That's not what I do. I don't own a firearm, but I do believe in some manner, some way, shape, or form of common sense. And the states that have bear hunts don't have these close calls, by and large. There's always one or two things that happen. Look at Massachusetts. Look at how they deal with their bear population. They don't have nearly the problems that we do. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Coming up, of course, tomorrow's a Tuesday in the 5 o'clock hour. Our friend, our pal, Megan Portfolio from the Hartford Portfolio website, so from the Yankee Institute. So we will be checking in with her to see what Megan is writing about and more. Again, if you want to check in here, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. That's talk or text. Thank you once again for the people who texted me the same story, which is interesting. I did not know that Anthony Scaramucci and Mark Cuban are not so quietly backing this Elon Musk third-party idea.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 southbound Milford accident reported near exit 40. Has things backing up through West Haven into Long Wharf as well. Lower Fairfield County 95 north, solid hour frontage through Fairfield. The Parkway is easier. Route 8 northbound bunched up through Shelton, going up to the bridge, and on the Wilbur Cross southbound, congestion delays through Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. And that's Krause with WICC traffic.
A shower and thunderstorm this evening. It will be a warm and muggy night with a low in the low 70s. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Hot and humid with a high near 90. Heat indices will be in the mid-90s. On Wednesday, partly sunny with a high in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Fish On, announcing the WICC Surfside Hotel Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth. Now in its 43rd year. Fish Long Island Sound August 23rd and 24th. Land the heaviest blue and win $25,000. Fish to win and fish for fun. Just pick up a registration form at the Surfside Hotel in Stratford or go to bluefishtournament.com. Thanks to the Water Doctor and Bridgeport Harbor Marina, the Surfside Hotel in Stratford, Connecticut's favorite beach hotel. The beach is calling and you must go. TheSurfside.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time.
and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for Speedy Security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For Speedy Security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Back to the news and talk, thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC's 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
Didn't get a chance to get to it today. I found some stuff over the weekend we'll get to likely tomorrow. Again, if you're a Democrat, you're watching what's going on just a few miles away. This Zohran Mamdani, who now is the odds-on favorite to get elected the next mayor of New York City. So Democratic socialist. All right, that's bad enough. But again, you were getting reports now of stuff that his father has said in the past. Now, having said that, we don't pick our parents. I understand that. But, again, can you imagine if, what's been in the news was said by a Republican father to his son or daughter running to be mayor of New York City? So we'll tell you about that tomorrow. And Mr. Mamdani, this is something he chose to do. Chose to share a video, shall we say that might have been in poor taste, involving Hanukkah. Yes. There seems to be, I'm going to be pleasant here, Mr. Mamdani, how should I put this and be nice? Mr. Mamdani seems to have somewhat of a blind spot when it comes to those of the Jewish faith. I'll explain tomorrow about this video that was shared and his continued effort to push himself away from the phrase globalize, the intifada. As I've been telling my friends, choose carefully, New York, choose carefully. There's more and more evidence out there. News coming up top of the hour. CBS Chris Williams, thank you, and you and I will be together tomorrow.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The death toll in Texas from the floods is now 95 and expected to grow. Senator Ted Cruz.
The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state.
Correspondent Jason Allen reports 27 of the victims were at a girls' camp.
This was just covered in mud and tree branches, and this is a camp that just sits right up on the banks of the Guadalupe River. This would have been a very difficult spot for them to find any sort of higher ground to run to.
Reporter Karen Waugh in Kerrville, where the search efforts continue.
You hear helicopters flying by every once in a while. There are boats and drones. Agencies from other states and Mexico have come to help in this effort.
A tropical system swept through the Carolinas over the weekend, flooding homes. Jim Krasula reports at least one person was killed.
As much as a foot of rain fell and hundreds had to be rescued. Many need to find a new place to live. Teza Satterwhite had to jump out of an apartment window to escape rapidly rising water in hard-hit Chapel Hill.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
Many roads and bridges were washed away and tens of thousands are without power. There was also widespread flooding across south central Virginia. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
President Trump sent letters today to some top trading partners, letting them know that if they don't reach a trade deal with the U.S. by August 1st, there will be new tariffs on their goods. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is at the White House.
He's already issued letters to the leaders of Japan and South Korea, telling them that they will face a 25% tariff on imported goods, and that the tariff may come down if you start building more of your goods in the United States.
President Trump will host Israel's prime minister at the White House this evening. Erica Brown reports they'll discuss the latest proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza.
An official briefed on the negotiations tells CBS News the current proposal is for a 60-day ceasefire with a phased release of hostages, Israeli troop withdrawals from parts of Gaza, and discussions on a permanent end to the conflict.
Correspondent Matt Piper on some new research in the Journal of the American Medical Association, which finds kids are not as healthy healthy as they once were.
The study says the health of children has gone down over the past 17 years, with kids today more likely to be obese and suffer from chronic diseases and mental health problems like depression. A child these days is 20% more likely to have a chronic condition like anxiety, depression, or sleep apnea, according to data reported by parents and doctors.
On Wall Street, stocks finished lower over tariff concerns. The Dow is off 422 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
You're listening to a Melissa in the Morning Rewind. Now on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
There were certainly a lot of bills that went into effect, I should say laws that went into effect on July 1st. And certainly one that caught a lot of people's attention were the video surveillance was being installed at absentee ballot drop boxes across the state. And we thought this is a great opportunity, of course, to check in with the Secretary of the State, but also to talk about other pieces of legislation, all having to do with election security and just our elections in general in Connecticut. So we welcome back Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, who is here. And let's go to I would say something that certainly sparked a lot of feedback from Connecticut residents, which had to do with the recording absentee ballot boxes. Now, this was something, correct me if I'm wrong, Secretary of the State, welcome back. This was actually something that passed last year, right?
That's correct. And good morning. Happy to be here as always. That's correct. Usually for many election laws, especially if it's something that has to roll out across all of our 169 towns, there's usually a 6-month to 1 year buffer to give towns time to budget for it and also to implement. So this passed last year and it went into effect July 1.
And, of course, the question, Secretary of the State, that we get from, and understandably so, only because it was right here in our listening area, Bridgeport, where we saw, misuse of certainly stuffing ballot boxes in 2023 during the primary for the mayoral election. The question is, why invest the money in having surveillance cameras put in? Why not just eliminate the absentee ballot drop boxes?
There's a few reasons. One, I talked about this a lot last year when this case was unfolding. Several of the exact same people were alleged to have done the exact same thing before Connecticut ever had drop boxes. So I would posit that it's not necessarily a Dropbox problem, but a specific problem related to the same people receiving these allegations. And what most people don't realize is that many towns, when they put up the drop boxes, they added them in areas where they already had surveillance. And it's in fact the fact that we had a drop box in Bridgeport with the surveillance camera that enabled us to get that footage and move the case forward last year, whereas the 2019 case had stalled out for a bit for lack of very clear and compelling evidence.
Do you feel like the ballot boxes are necessary?
I believe they are. I remember even before I became secretary and I was a state representative, I remember in particular when I was out door knocking, quite a few like seniors and caregivers, etc., cited how important and how transformative the drop boxes were during COVID. One story in particular, I remember it was a daughter who was caring for her mother, who was ambulatory, but not like at the level of being able to go to a polling location and walk down the hallway. And she was like, my mother is so happy now that I can drive her to the drop box and like she can see it dropped off. And that hadn't been possible prior to the drop boxes. And that's just one example. So, you know, I think it's not the drop boxes, but you want to make sure the system is as secure as possible.
And again, we have the Secretary of the State here, Stephanie Thomas, on election security. I want to get to, there were actually a lot of bills in regards to our elections and our security. Now, the election monitor for Bridgeport, I know that's not a new piece of legislation, but there was an extension of the monitor program. And I believe I heard that there was going to be a new public education campaign for voters. That's something you've talked about doing for a long time.
Yeah, as you know, I have been very vocal about saying that we need money committed to public education for everybody. Many people don't realize election laws change from year to year. You know, a lot of people don't realize that the way they voted when they were 18 perhaps has changed. And as a result, some people are misled some people make mistakes, which could be illegal. So when we were in Bridgeport in 2023 and 2024, one of the things I had hoped to do was to conduct a public education campaign, a bilingual one in particular, because in a lot of states, other people can drop off your absentee ballots. It's not illegal. In Connecticut, it happens to be limited to certain members of the family or like a registrar or a police officer. But a lot of people didn't realize that because like neighbors and people in the community had been dropping it off for them for decades. So I thought we need to short circuit that with a public education campaign. So I made that suggestion. And although I did not get funding for a statewide campaign, I am